scheduled meeting, and it's good to see everyone. I feel like it's been a while. We at this time should be calling the roll. Unfortunately, I know that our recording secretary had a little bit of an emergency. She will be joining us, but in the meantime, Executive Director Garcia, are you able to help us by calling the roll?
Yes, can do.
Okay.
Member Avalos.
Here.
Member Baraka.
Present.
Member Barry.
Present.
Member Campos.
Present by proxy.
Thank you. Member Chen. Member Dufty. Member Dufty.
I believe.
I think you're his proxy.
Yes.
I'm back. Member Vice Chair Galata.
Present.
Corresponding Secretary Ibanez. Member Kim is excused. Vice Chair Lacroix.
Present.
Vice Chair, Recording Secretary Lee is not here. Member Loftus. Vice Chair Lovett.
Present.
Chair Mahogany.
Here.
Member Mandelman.
Present by proxy.
Member Marr.
Here by proxy.
Member Maliga. Treasurer Morales.
Here.
Member Raju.
Zaki Shaheen here as proxy.
Thank you. Member Ronan.
Here by proxy.
Member Thomas.
Here.
Member Tung.
Here.
Member Williams.
Here, and I'm also proxy for Member Dufty.
Great, thank you. Member Zhu. Here. Member Feinstein.
Here by proxy.
Member Pelosi is excused. Member Spear is excused. Member Kounalakis. Here. Member Ma. Member Cohen.
Steve Imran here, present by proxy.
Thank you. Member Weiner.
Present by proxy.
Member Haney. And Member Ting.
Here by proxy.
Thank you. Going back to Member Chen.
This is Member Lee, and I'm going to be the proxy for Quina.
Great, thank you. Member Secretary Ibanez. Member Secretary Lee.
Here.
Great. Member Loftus. Member Maliga.
Right here.
Thank you. Member Zoe. Member Kounalakis. Member Ma. Member Haney.
Member Haney
24
did reach out to me earlier and say that he was not going to be able to make it. So if we can mark him as excused.
Thank you. With that, you have 24 members present.
Thank you. I believe that means we have quorum. And thank you again, Executive Director Garcia, for taking the role. We will now, Member Ibanez, sorry, it says Peter Galata, but it's Member Ibanez.
I'll change the name. Thank you so much. I just wanted to let you know that I am here. I was on the other side with the participants, and now I'm a panelist. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and sorry for the confusion about the link. All right, we will now move on to the approval of the meeting agenda. Members, you should have the 72-hour notice in front of you or have been able to review it. We actually had several new agenda items. Items number 15 through 21 include the following time-sensitive resolutions. Item number 15 is a resolution in support of San Francisco International Airport hospitality workers brought forward by members Thomas, Ibanez, and Mahogany. Resolution number 16 is a resolution in support of AB 2183, the Agricultural Labor Relations Voting Choice Act, sponsored by Mahogany, Ibanez, and Thomas. Item number 17 is a resolution in support of striking Kaiser mental health providers by Mahogany, Ibanez, and Thomas. And 18 is a resolution condemning the actions of Governor Ron DeSantis, brought forward by Mahogany and Morales. 19 is a resolution in support of the establishment of the Office of Gun Violence Prevention, brought forward by Mahogany. 20 is a resolution commending the SFUSD for recognizing Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha, brought forward by Mahogany. And number 21 is a resolution supporting the rights of the people of Iran to free expression and standing in solidarity with the women and people of Iran, brought forward by Mahogany. I do not think that any of these are controversial. And so I'm wondering if we can have an amendment to the agenda to add all 7 of these items. And in addition, are there any other amendments to the agenda that folks would like to suggest or make?
No amendments to the agenda, or I guess one possibility is perhaps tabling the officer reports. I know that we have a endorsement meeting today, and I'm anticipating there's a lot of public comment, and now we have quite a few, if approved, quite a few agenda items. And I just want to be mindful of everyone's time. And I also want to bring up maybe something we can just discuss at executive committee, but just a reminder to all of us to be kind of, what's the word I want to use? Just a reminder that as we think about what's on the agenda, especially the 72-hour agenda, that function is supposed to be for things that are like really time sensitive, and so I just hope that we moving forward just kind of use our discretion to understand like what things are a lot more time sensitive versus things that maybe we can have on a different agenda, especially for an endorsement meeting. But that's all. Most likely in support of all of these items, just wanting to kind of throw a little caution back up that for especially full agendas like endorsement meetings, that we should keep things a little more pared down.
Thank you, Vice Chair Lacroix. Member Lovett. Vice Chair Lovett.
So yes, I hear Vice Chair Lacroix's sentiments, and I'm just advocating for having our 2 fall interns introduce themselves. So if that would be possible, and I understand that Executive Director Garcia has reached out to them, and they can pop in. They are actually helping with phone banking as we speak.
I think that would be a great idea. Would they be a part of your report, Vice Chair Lovett, or your officer's report?
Yes, I just want to hand off the mic to the interns when they can pop in.
Okay, wonderful. I would like to make the suggestion that if folks want to individually table their officer reports, that they should. I actually don't know that this meeting will go terribly long. We have 15 people in the queue currently, and public comment is limited to 1 minute today. So we shall see. But let's keep an eye on that, and then we can adjust accordingly. Member Barry, did you have your hand raised earlier?
Yeah, I did. I just wanted to uplift the agenda item in reference to the Kaiser subject matter. I watched a lot of the hearing on that, and it is a state of emergency type situation. So many people are going without mental health care, unable to get appointments for months. And us as a city really need to rally behind getting some resolve with Kaiser.
Thank you, Member Barry. Member Thomas?
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. I would like to make a motion to adopt the agenda as amended with the 72-hour items.
Second.
Oh,
Thank you, Member Thomas, and seconded by Member Barry. If we can pass this by acclamation, all those in favor say aye.
aye.
Any,
Aye.
any opposed, nay. Any abstentions? Seeing none, the agenda is adopted unanimously. Thank you, colleagues. We can now move on to the approval of the meeting minutes, which is item number 3 on the agenda. I have heard from our executive director that we do not have updated meeting minutes for the last 2 months. And so I'm wondering if it's possible that we can give our recording secretary some support, because I know that we did have one very long meeting that we need to get through. And I don't want us to get into a place where we fall too far behind, because then it becomes just that much harder to catch up. So I'm wondering if this is something that our interns might be able to help with, Executive Director Garcia, and I'm sorry, and also Recording Secretary Lee, if you would like the help.
Yeah, Edie Garcia and I are going to discuss. I was unavailable for that lengthy August meeting, so I'm behind, but we'll make sure I have them done for October, since it'll be the last regular meeting of the year.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your work on that. I know it's a lot. All right. So given that, if we can have a motion to table this item to the following meeting, where we will have the meeting minutes for the last 3 meetings. Can we have a motion? Member
So
Tuttle?
moved.
Second.
Okay. I heard Vice Chair Lacroix and seconded by Ibanez. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Nay. Any abstentions? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, colleagues. We have now at the point where we will take general public comment. This is item number 4 on the agenda, and this is the opportunity for the general public to engage with the members of the Democratic Party and speak on any of the items listed on the agenda. I will turn this portion of the meeting over to our Executive Director, Moises Garcia, to help facilitate this portion. Thank you, Director Garcia. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. Welcome to the September meeting of the SF Democratic Party. Oh, wait, I'm reading the wrong one. My apologies. If you would like to make public comment, please use the raise hand function, which can be found at the bottom of your Zoom screen. If you are listening to this meeting via your phone, please dial *9 to enter the queue. If you encounter any difficulties, please send an email to info@sfdemocrats.org. Each member of the public will have 1 minute to address the SFDCCC. Associate SFDCCC members have floor privileges and may exceed the 1 minute time limit. I will promote folks in the order that I see your hands raised, and thank you in advance for your patience. I'm going to first bring on our interns to introduce themselves, as they are currently phone banking as well. So we'll have Sean Hale, followed by Ishan.
Hi. Okay, great. Thank you so much for being supportive. I'm Sean. I'm just introducing myself, right? Or,
correct.
Yeah. Okay. I'm Sean. I'm the Nancy Pelosi College Fellow, and I am really excited to be here. I've done a little bit of this work before, and I find it very.
Oops. We may need to have, if there's both of you have your computers on in the same place, you may be getting that feedback. So you may need.
No. I think if you're. Oh, my audio's not.
My name is Ari. I'm a volunteer for the California Democratic Party, and I'm calling to see if we can support.
I'm just really excited to be doing this, and I find it very important, and I'm glad to be a part of the team.
Thank you for your comments. Ishan?
Hi, everyone. I'm the Sue Bierman Memorial High School intern, and it's just a real honor to be part of the team, and it's been a great experience so far, phone banking, and it's somewhat of a new experience for me, but it's been a great experience so far, and I'm really excited to just help with the effort. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Ishan, for your comments.
And if
Next,
I can here and just, I know this is public comment, but just say thank you both for the work that you are doing, helping run the Keep It Blue office. We know how vital this work is in terms of getting national protections passed that codifies so many of our basic human rights that we've been able to count on thus far. So you're doing really, really important work and you're holding it down for the party. So thank you so much for being here to introduce yourselves. And I think next we'll have another of our fierce Keep It Blue fighters, Democratic fighters, Susan Pfeiffer.
And I will unmute, and I'm sitting next to the dynamic interns, Sean and Ishan. And hopefully you may hear a bell ring in a moment. I'm in the Keep It Blue office. We have 3 people on the phones, and they're ringing a lot of bells tonight. They're calling Arizona and California and having success. And I also wanted to thank members LaCroix and Barry for coming to a special night last week and making calls. Very successful. And thank you for setting that up. We have one of the clubs is already signed up for next Tuesday night. UDC is going to bring a group in to make calls. So any of you involved with any clubs or organizations, if you want to schedule a night and bring people in, we would love that. We just had a walk-in who came in and signed up to make calls. So we had a wonderful kickoff yesterday with the speaker who really got us all fired up and ready to go. So this is how we win. So I hope to see you all here. Thanks.
Thank you for your comments, Susan. Next up is Jordan Davis.
Hi, everybody. I just want to say yes to John Hamasaki for DA and fuck Brooke Jenkins. Also, Prop K, that was taken off the ballot, so you don't really need to rescind that shit. I'm also really upset with what happened last month when it came to like the issues around Prop C. You didn't care about what us PSH tenants said. You didn't try to question them about the concerns we had. You just went out and voted for it. Well, I say, fuck that shit. You shouldn't have voted yes. This is not progressive. This is moderate bullshit supported by Dee Wilsey. So you should have been rescinding Prop C. I yield my time. Fuck you.
Thank you for your comments. Next up is Fabiana Ochoa.
Hi, everyone. Good evening, members of the SFDCCC. My name is Fabiana Ochoa, and I work at the California Nurses Association. CNA represents more than 100,000 bedside registered nurses across the country with significant density here in San Francisco. I'm here tonight to talk about item number 13, which is SB 1334, meal breaks for public sector and UC healthcare workers, authored by Senator Stephen Bradford and sponsored by CNA. The bill will ensure that public sector employees who provide direct patient care or support direct patient care will be covered by Section 512 of the California Labor Code, guaranteeing meal breaks and rest periods for public sector healthcare workers like bedside nurses at UCSF. This law brings the public sector into alignment with regulations governing private sector healthcare workers. Under the law, if a public sector healthcare employer fails to provide meal and break coverage, they will be required to pay the employee for missed rest. Nurses are patient advocates, and we urge you to support this important bill. Thank you.
Thanks. Next up is Vanessa Margarita, followed by Alexandra Grainer, and then Kim Branciforte. Go ahead, Vanessa. Vanessa, if you can unmute for us.
There we go. Sorry about that. I barely got the little, thingy-majimky to unmute. So buenas tardes, everyone. Thank you for giving me this time. My name is Venecia Margarita, and I am co-president of the San Francisco Latinx Democratic Club. And I am here for a couple of reasons. I wanted to make sure that you all know that I support Chair Mahogany's appointments to the state party this month for the DCCC. And that includes the appointment of Joshua Ochoa, Gabby Burgos, and also Luis Zamora. We need more Latinx folks representing at the state level. And so I urge all of you to please support this appointment. On top of that, I also urge everyone to please support and vote for DA John Hamasaki. Thank you so much. Yield my time. Have a great evening.
Thank you for your comments. Next is Alexandra Grainer.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Alexandra Grainer. I'm a former prosecutor. I used to work at the San Francisco District Attorney's Office in the white collar unit. I resigned because I didn't believe in the direction the office was going after Brooke Jenkins was appointed as district attorney. For many reasons, but I'm going to narrow my comments today to two issues, and that's reflective of comments that Brooke Jenkins made, I believe, on Saturday at the DCCC's latest meeting. The first one is that she said her office, the SFDA's office, does not fully investigate issues relating to campaign finance violations. That's absolutely not true. The San Francisco District Attorney's Office is the sole enforcement entity that is responsible for enforcing criminal violations of local campaign finance disclosure laws, including the law which requires paid campaign consultants to register with SF Ethics Commission prior to receiving any consideration. Now, it's quite obvious that there is a massive, obvious conflict of interest. Sorry, between. I'm sorry, I can't.
Your time is up. I'm sorry.
Next up is Kim Brassenforte.
You had it closer the first time, Branson40. And so I'm a nurse at UCSF, but like everybody with a side hustle, I also work at Children's Hospital Oakland. I'm going to try and talk to you about SB 1334 because the situation, like my colleague was explaining, I work at the private hospital, I miss my break, I get paid. I work at the public hospital, I miss my break, and I don't. Our nurses have never needed to be adequately braked more than they do right now. And our patients have never needed our full, present, rested care than they do right now. The hospitals are going to tell you they can't afford it. That's what they told us when we wanted patient ratios, which we know scientifically has shown that we save lives with patient ratios. I guarantee you it's the same thing when you have a nurse that is actually allowed to take a break. So they're going to tell you they can't afford it. Those hospitals are making plenty of money. I guarantee you those hospital executives don't go 11 hours without getting to take a drink of water or go to the bathroom. We deserve the same dignity. We're helping people go to the bathroom and take water all our 12-hour breaks. So we're just asking for that dignified ability to take a break. Thanks.
Thank you for your comments. Next up is Elizabeth Benchel.
Hi, my name is Liz Benchel. I am also going to piggyback off what Kim was just saying. I am a registered nurse at UCSF Parnassus. I work on an inpatient bone marrow transplant floor. And during this time, we have complete occupational fatigue. It's at such a high rate between nurses and caregivers, and everyone's suffering. I think that, again, no other job is expected to work 12 and a half hours without a break. I don't think it's an unreasonable thing. I think it's very sad that we have to take time out of our day to argue about this. There's a lot of reasons for the disparity in this law, but definitely something that should be thought about, not even thought about. I think it's a right as human beings to have this. So we would like for you to all vote for it.
Great. Thank you for your comments. Next is Sunny Angulo.
Hi, thank you so much. I am also calling about item 13 on your agenda tonight. Thank you, Member Galata, for all of your work on this. I come from a family of nurses. All of my aunts are nurses. Also the folks that helped to keep my best friend alive during the pandemic. We're all incredibly hardworking nurses that deserve to have meal breaks, deserve to have, be on parity with the folks in the private and the public sectors need to be in commensurate. Sorry, someone's calling me on my phone. Need to have the same equal rights. And so I urge everyone to support it. And thanks to our Democratic Party for taking a stand for nurses and a stand for equity. It makes our patients safer. So thanks so much.
Thank you for your comments. If anyone else would like to give public comment, please use the raise hand function. As of now, our last speaker is Joshua Ochoa.
Hello, everyone. Just doing quick public comment. I wanted to thank Chair Mahogany for nominating me for the DSCC delegate seat for the state party. If you don't already know me, I am a progressive youth advocate, and I've been involved in the San Francisco community for over 6 years. I'm super excited to be pushing, SF values at the statewide level, and that we ensure an accountability and transparency from state leadership. I also want to make sure that we empower and uplift young and marginalized communities and push for progressive values and endorse candidates up and down the ballot who represent those same values. Super honored to be, nominated. I hope to have y'all's support. And thank you so much. I'd be honored to serve on behalf of San Francisco.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else who'd like to give public comment at this time? See one. Great. Last up, Gabby Burgos.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. Apologize for not being able to join via video, but I just wanted to give public comment and thank Chair Mahogany for nominating me as well tonight. I started my political career over in New Orleans. Well, I guess I should say in Puerto Rico, but part in New Orleans as well. And I think that it's very important for me to continue my work. I've been a trailblazer for the trans community in both places, and I'm very excited to be able to have the ability to elect and endorse candidates at a state level here in California that are going to not only represent our that community but also apologies but
thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Chair, that concludes public comment.
All right, last call for public comment if there's anyone else, but I guess no one else in the attendees wants to give public comment. So great, so that was faster than we thought it would be. Thank you everyone who participated and gave public comment. We really appreciate your time and that you came here and were able to speak directly to the party, so thank you. Now we are moving on to the next item, which is reports. So this is the time for our members to report on what they've been working on over the last month since we've been together. And there may be also some discussion here. And I'll start with a brief chair report. I just want to say, again, thank you to everyone who made it out to our gala. I know many of us had a really great time there, but I especially wanted to give a huge shout out to our executive director, Moises Garcia, who really spearheaded the entire event. And it went so smoothly due to his diligence and his ability to corral many of us members and make sure that we were getting to those meetings to make make things happen. I also want to give a huge shout out to Member Thomas, who is our fundraising chair, and I'm sure he's going to talk. I might be stealing your thunder, but I also have to give you credit. So I need to just, you can report on the numbers and all of that, but I just want to say that Member Thomas did a fantastic job as chair of our fundraising committee, helping us raise tens of thousands of dollars for the San Francisco Democratic Party. I also want to make sure to shout out Treasurer Morales, who has also really helped us with our fundraising and was a key member of our team in putting this on. And Member Dufty as well was a huge boon and a help. And of course, Brian, who was the representative for Jackie Spear, was absolutely integral in making sure that, number one, that we had this event to be able to honor Congresswoman Spear as she was retiring, but also to bring in a lot of donors to help us make this happen and just make it an event that was really, truly meaningful and special to the Congresswoman, but really to all of us here at the party. And then I want to give a very special thank you to Kathleen McDonough, who this event would have not happened without. She is an all-star volunteer for the Democratic Party. She knows how to make things happen. And let me tell you, she is amazing at getting a good deal. So if you ever need to cut prices anywhere, make sure to give her a call. She can negotiate the heck out of anything. So thank you, Kathleen, for all of your work and your service. And then the final piece that I want to say is, really thank you to Labor and who were really our biggest donors here. We did have some private sector donors and we're super grateful to all of them, but really the showing that Labor gave the Democratic Party at this event was outstanding. And so I'm just very grateful for that partnership with Labor and hope that we can continue to build that partnership and continue to push and work for working people here in San Francisco. And members, just thank you to all of you who bought tables, Vice Chair Galata, Vice Chair Baraka, and many more. I'm sorry if I missed people who bought tickets in support of this event. It really does help ensure that we succeed here at the San Francisco Democratic Party. So thank you. And with that, I will also just say that, we have been very hard at work at the Red to Blue office. As Susan Pfeiffer said, we are phone banking several days a week. Thank you to those members who have already participated and hosted phone banks. And we still have a month, 6 weeks left until the election. So if you can, please get in there. We officially launched just this week. There's still time to get involved. So with that, I will conclude my chair's report and thank you everyone again for a great September. We still got October left and then we're headed to the election. So that concludes my report and I will pass it on to our Chair of Outreach, Vice Chair Lacroix.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. I am excited to say that over the past couple months, we've had participated in Sunday Streets. Unfortunately, last month they got a little rained out, but I do want to just express some thanks to both Member Baraka for coming through and helping table, not last month, but the month before, and as well as SFYD, who was so willing and able to come and help, even come rain or shine last month. But the weather had other plans for us. But I just wanted to just shout out both of your guys's willingness and ability to come and help participate. As we do have 6 or so weeks until election day, so there will be plenty of more opportunities as we shift gears or accelerate gears rather into going toward November. So there's that. I also don't want to steal Vice Chair Galata's thunder, but I do want to say that we were able to co-host a phone bank the other day for the Keep It Blue office, and it was so nice and so wonderful, and it was so great to meet some of the volunteers who were there and people who showed up, and it was successful. Some people were able to get their bells to ring. And so I just want to encourage everyone as well to exercise that arm of your outreach. If not for, San Francisco races, think of races all throughout the state and all across the country to plug into, because things are wild in DC and we need all of each other to help us get through this. So thank you guys so much. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Vice Chair Lacroix. We are going to actually continue club chartering. The Wallenberg Democratic Club is not quite ready yet, and so we're going to continue that to next month, and we'll move on to issues and resolutions with Vice Chair Lovett.
Thank you. I will just keep my comments brief here since we did our endorsements of local ballot measures back in August. Thank you all for participating, and now get out there and help with these campaigns because we are looking at important issues for education, also just for measures that will lift up our cities in terms of housing. There is so much out there that we need to support, and we should focus on those larger phone banks because we have to keep this country in the hands of Democrats if possible. On the local level, we are really battling these issues around housing affordability, around education and access. And that really is at the root, I think, of keeping our community safe as we are looking at the DA endorsement vote today. Thank you. I'll pass it on.
Thank you, Vice Chair Lovett. We'll now move on to partnerships with Vice Chair Galata.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. Hi, colleagues. Good evening. Yes, I just will echo some of the plugs that have already been made for our phone banking. Really, first and foremost, though, just want to really acknowledge the partnership and leadership of Speaker Pelosi and Team Pelosi in helping to literally create this space for us to gather and be able to return to in-person phone banking. We weren't able to do that in 2020. And so we're able to actually gather in person again, ring those bells and connect with folks. And it's been great. There's kind of a soft launch over the past month, but this week, Speaker was in town, really officially kicked off the space just yesterday. And phone banks are ramping up. So we're at a 6-day-a-week schedule at this point. So I really just want to thank Team Pelosi and the Speaker for this partnership. We're excited to help get volunteers and Democrats engaged in these critical House and Senate races. So phone banks are happening right now through the week, Monday to Thursday, 5 to 8 p.m., Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Sunday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. We're specifically making calls into 2 key districts in the Central Valley. So we're making calls for Rudy Salas and for Josh Harder, also making calls into Arizona and Nevada as well for the House and Senate races there. And I also just want to do a few quick shout outs and acknowledgements as well. So yes, thank you to Vice Chair Lacroix for being our first DCCC member to co-host a phone bank in the space. And thank you to Member Barry as well for joining that phone bank last week. Shout out and thanks to the Alice B. Toklas Club who converted their recent membership meeting into a phone bank in the space and turned out like 10 members to make calls. That was awesome. Thank you to the United Democratic Club, Latinx Dem Club, and SF Young Dems who have all expressed interest in hosting a phone bank in the space, and we're excited to get some dates scheduled with those clubs soon. I know Supervisor Mandelman has also said he will host a phone bank, so thank you, Supervisor. Would love to add more DCCC member names and elected officials and Democratic clubs to our list. So please let me know if you're interested. And also just want to really thank, and it was wonderful to meet our interns, Ishan and Sean, who are helping us staff the space, along with our executive director, Garcia, who's been there and helping to hold it down as well. And of course, Susan Pfeiffer for keeping it all going and being just the backbone and anchor of our phone banks. So I'm going to drop the Mobilize link into the chat so folks can sign up directly and you can see all the dates and everything that's coming up for the next 6 weeks. So please sign up for when works for you. Let me know if you're interested in hosting, inviting friends and your network to come into this space. And so feel free to reach out and message me directly about that. And just thank you all. I know there's a lot going on. We've got a lot on the local front, but appreciate folks just taking a little bit of time. The calls have been really positive. People are not hanging up, they're talking, they're listening, and they are saying they're with Democrats. So it's been, at least in my experience, the calls have been really positive, and we're getting those commitments to folks to turn out. We know that turnout is key. We can't win without it, but these calls are so helpful and essential for us to win. So thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Galata. We'll now have a report from our Treasurer, Treasurer Morales.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany, and good evening, everybody. Let me check our balances again. It's a night of great news. Thanks again to everybody who was there at the gala and for all of the organizing that so many members did, because now we have a little over $8,000 in our federal account and about $55,000 in the state account. And there is some more money coming in, and that's really wonderful. And it's going to help us really have a really healthy end to our calendar year, since we do have administrative costs that we always have to cover, and of course our electoral program, right, in terms of member communications. If I may, I just want to take a couple of minutes to say something that I didn't ask anybody if I could say, but I feel like I must say it because the time is now, because I am not a transgender woman. And I think any moment that I can take to stand in solidarity with transgender women of color and transgender femmes, it's important and should be taken. And I know that our chair has been greatly disrespected. I mean, I don't have enough words to say what happened because I think disrespect is not enough. The comments were transphobic and biased. It is very unfortunate that Supervisor Peskin perhaps doesn't see the transphobia in his words. I'm not quite sure. I found out yesterday through the Chronicle what happened, and time has not allowed queer members of this body to meet, but I do know that there is an openness there, and thank you so much for wanting to meet and discuss this, because what I am worried about, aside from, of course, the well-being of our chair as an individual, is also our transgender San Franciscans who are looking up to our leaders to see not only if they belong in this city, but also is their voice going to be respected if they want to seek higher positions of power, whether that's in an appointed position or an elected position, whatever way it is. We haven't had any transgender person be a supervisor of the Board of Supervisors in San Francisco. In our city and county, the Board of Supervisors hold a lot of power, and a lot more power than in other counties in California. And it is very appalling to me that a member of our board would imply that a Black transgender person is not a real person and use words like unworthy of support. And Supervisor Peskin is a very brilliant man, and I just do not buy it that he doesn't understand the power of his words. And so I ask here and plead to all of us, whether we're queer or transgender or cisgender, to please condemn his words and reassure with me to transgender San Franciscans that we do want to hear your voices, that we want you to be part of the table, that you're important and that you deserve and are worthy of living, of speaking up, and of being here. And once again, I hope that we can meet and also not just queer and trans members of the board, and to take some kind of action to again ensure our transgender Democrats that they matter, and also non-voters, because we know that there is a lot of disenfranchisement, particularly against the transgender community. So thank you.
Thank you, Treasurer Morales, for both your report and your solidarity. Honestly, I did not expect this to come up at this meeting. This was a surprise to me. I will say that, I did receive a call from Supervisor Peskin, and he left me a voicemail that he did regret his choice of words. And so I do want to acknowledge that. And honestly, for me, this is not something new. This is something that, for better or for worse, in many different ways, in parts of my life, I have been used to. And so I guess I didn't give it that much weight personally when the quote was given, and it was only later when I saw people's reaction that I sort of had to take a step back and think about it. And I, really appreciated the statements of solidarity from both the San Francisco Women's Political Committee and also the San Francisco Women's March, who issued statements of solidarity with the trans community, because it does acknowledge that, in this country, the life expectancy for Black trans women is 35. And it's due to the disproportionate amount of violence that they experience. And what paves the road for that violence is dehumanization. And so those words are very important. It has been done throughout history that the first step in attack and in hurting people and committing violence against people is to first dehumanize them. And so words really do matter. And I do really appreciate the solidarity from those organizations and your solidarity tonight, Treasurer Morales. Again, this was not something that I thought we were going to discuss, but it is something that I'm thinking about. And even though I personally was not offended, I'm a big girl. I can take it. But I do think that it is an important conversation for the larger movement and how we talk about accountability. So thank you for addressing it. With that, we will move on. And I'm sorry, Vice Chair Baraka, that somehow you were skipped. But if we can go to you for a report on voter registration and outreach.
Sure thing. This will be real quick. I just have 4 quick items. Vice Chair Lacroix, it was a pleasure doing Sunday Streets with you. I always enjoy talking to voters and registering voters, and I encourage members to come out. It's really a great time to engage with the electorate, and you should come out and register some voters with us. And on that same vein, I'll be going to the Castro Street Fair next Sunday. It's coming Sunday, I believe. And if anyone's interested in doing roving voter registration, that worked out well on a few different occasions. What we've done is just carry clipboards with our QR code that links to the Secretary of State's website. And I carry a few forms with me, but people tend to like the QR codes. So if someone's interested in doing that, please reach out to me. I thought the fundraiser was magnificent, and I too agree with all the comments about all the organizers. The reason why I bring this up is because I spoke to our honoree, Congresswoman Jackie Spear, and she said, although voter registration is important here, what's also very important and possibly more important is that we do voter registration in places like the Central Valley. So I'm going to be throwing up in the chat a link to Swing Left. I'm certainly going to try to get down there, and I've talked to some other members who are interested in going down one Saturday to both canvass and or register voters. So again, I'm going to throw that in the chat. It's what our honoree would like us to do. So maybe if others could find the time to spend a Saturday down in the Central Valley, we could organize a caravan and have a good time down there. So that is all, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Vice Chair Baraka. Appreciate all your work there and for pushing us to do more when it comes to voter registration.
Can I add one more thing to Vice Chair Baraka's report? We ended up registering somebody to vote during Sunday Streets. So yay, that also happened. So just wanted, I forgot to include in my report and just wanted to share that positive news as well.
Thank you, Vice Chair Lacroix. We are now going to our committee reports. So again, AJ, apologies if I stole any of your thunder, but chair of our finance chair, Member Thomas, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. It's tough to follow Vice Chair Baraka. I feel very underdressed. You're looking pretty sharp there, Keith. I want to echo what other people said. I was really impressed with the work that the organizers and volunteers did. It was a group effort, but I want to highlight our executive director, Moises, really kicked a lot of tail in putting together that event. It was a ton of work, and I really hats off to you, Moises, for your work. I definitely want to give a huge shout out to Kathleen. When we first started thinking about organizing this right in the middle of the pandemic, and we knew we couldn't do something live, everybody told me, have you talked to Kathleen? Have you talked to Kathleen? Have you talked to Kathleen? And then I went and did it, and it was the best possible advice that we could have had in doing this. You were instrumental, and it shows that you have not just the experience, but the savviness on it. I think the event would not have been able to be pulled off without your support. I really appreciate it. Brian Perkins, Bevan Dufty, Carolina Treasurer Morales, and Skylar Hudek, who is the proxy for the Lieutenant Governor, were all great support. And of course, our chair, Chair Mahogany, thank you so much for your leadership on this from the very beginning, making sure that we were getting the details right, and and remembering when we slipped up and missed something, you caught it. You made sure that we also had the strategic vision on how to execute it. And then most importantly, for a fundraising person, we hit our fundraising goal. I'm really excited about that. We exceeded 100,000 net of expenses, give or take. We're still trying to work out the final chasing checks and going to find the last bit of costs and all that stuff. But we're well over that with our subsequent fundraising, because we didn't stop there. We went straight into further fundraising, doing call time in the wake of that. So we've cleared well over the goal at this point. I really appreciate everybody putting in the work for months and months on that, and to treat Congresswoman Spira right and honor her career, which is a big deal. So I appreciate everybody's work and all those who could make it. I also just want to pop in a quick Slate Mail program report into this part of the agenda. Appreciate Chair Mahogany for appointing that committee with Vice Chair Banez, Treasurer Morales, myself, and staffed by Edie Garcia. We had a committee meeting, put together our budget for the Slate Mailer program, and made several communications with Jim Stearns, our consultant, and have a plan to get ballots out. To get the Slate Mailer out in time for ballots to drop. Jim Stearns has a pretty good plan in hitting voters when they vote. So there's an early voter block and a late voter block, and we're looking for some more targeted mailers as well as the fundraising can permit. So appreciate all of the work, again, from Moises and from Annabelle and Carolina on that as well. And that's my report.
Thank you, Member Thomas. One addendum I would like to add, because I don't remember if I gave them a shout out earlier, was thank you to SFYD for showing up and volunteering and helping us set up the event and manning the event, managing the event. They were absolutely fantastic. And yeah, we are so grateful to you for your service and for being in attendance that night. I'm sure there are more people, and when we talk about updating numbers next week, we'll probably add some more thank yous.
Chair Mahogany, one thing I forgot, and I feel we should mention, one last thank you, is to the members of Unite Here Local 2 who are working the event. We have a resolution that we just added to the agenda to support their siblings over at the airport who are struggling. But anybody who attended the event and saw anybody serving at those tables, those were all proud union members who were out of work for years. And one of the great things that we were able to do by picking that venue and working with that partner is to support the work of Unite Here Local 2. So a big shout out to that union.
Absolutely. All right, well, we will now move on to, let's see, Member Levitt, Vice Chair Levitt, did you want to talk about interns again, or are you done with that portion?
I do, actually. I also wanted to add to my issues report and just highlight for everyone that in the school board elections for November, after several court decisions, non-citizen parents of school-age children should be able to vote. So there have been groups out there, Meta, Chinese for Affirmative Action, that really led that charge in the last 4 years. And voting, the right to vote is still fraught. We cannot assume that because we live in San Francisco, that our right to vote is inclusive enough with access for those who really should have a say in races like the school board. So please let your friends and comrades know. And I'll keep the intern report brief, just to say thank you very much to our summer intern, Skylar Holmgren Lee. We lost our other intern, but instead what happened was that we decided for the first time to have a 2-month summer internship and then allocate the other 2 positions to the fall, since the upcoming November elections are so critical with our Keep It Blue Center. So we then brought on Ishan Bhattacharya early, and he was game. I mean, keep in mind, they're in school. So Ishan took that on while in high school, and at a university high school after having attended public school for many years. And then so he came on early. Then in mid-September, then we brought on Sean Hale, and they are both just rocking it with the phone banks and helping to train others. So this is the next generation really taking on just all these issues that are so important to maintaining our democracy and getting people engaged. And thanks to the committee who provided support on doing those interviews. And of course, thanks to Executive Director Garcia. I'll pass back.
Thank you, Vice Chair Levitt. We'll now go on to a report from our Executive Director, Garcia.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. I think the only thing I would add that hasn't already been mentioned is that we're obviously in the 6 weeks away from the elections. And so we're also I'm communicating with all the campaigns to help blast out their mobilizations and canvassing events and to really support our endorsed candidates. So you'll be seeing more of those things, as well as we're having the interns really help buttress those relationships to really do all we can to make sure that our endorsed ballot measures and candidates win this November. And with that concludes my report.
Thank you, Director Garcia. We'll now move on to, actually, I'm not sure that we have our CDP Regional Director, Henny Kelly here. Is she here? No, okay, so we can skip that report for now, and that concludes item number 5, which is our officers' reports. We'll now move on to item number 6, which is the possibly rescinding the endorsement of Proposition K, and for this, we'll turn it over to Vice Chair Levitt.
Okay, so this is pretty straightforward. We have a situation where the Amazon tax that was going to support a guaranteed income program, as well as certain homelessness and small business programs, had essentially got pulled by the proponents. And it was unfortunate because they had invested a lot of time and resources into this ballot measure for November. And so they then asked the judge to pull this measure, given that the tax would likely not impact Amazon, and instead still have that burden on small businesses for e-commerce. So we definitely support the principle. We had endorsed this measure in August before the early September just grant from the Superior Court judge to pull this ballot measure. So we're basically just aligning, saying this is no longer on the November ballot measure. Should we just keep this simple and do a vote by acclamation unless there is some discussion?
Just a point of order. I'm wondering if is this something that has to be brought forward by someone from the prevailing party who supported the measure in order to rescind the vote?
Yes, but also since two points. One, when we made the endorsement for that particular ballot measure, it was like pre ballot letter designations. And two, since it was removed from the ballot by the Department of Elections, like I don't necessarily think that a rescinding of the vote is necessary or called for, since it's not showing up on the ballot anyway. But if that's a course of action that the party would like to take, then we can. And so I guess like those are the options. Just like it's not necessary that we do it, but if we do, then I guess the motion would have to come from the prevailing side.
Thank you, Vice Chair Lacroix. And to be clear, I suggested we put this on the 10-day agenda before that judge's decision was made, and so things have changed since then. So, but Vice Chair Lovett, I will leave it up to you if you would like to ask for a motion, or if you feel as though we can simply let this one die.
Well, I think we probably want some clarity just in terms of what goes on our mailers, right? Do we have a motion to rescind this vote from August?
I move to rescind. Whoa, wait, sorry, you said you need a proponent. I'm just kidding.
I have a. Sorry, I don't want to talk over anybody. I have my hand up, but
I'm so sorry.
I was on the prevailing side previously, and feel that we do need to make rescind this endorsement. So I'm going to make the motion to rescind the endorsement of Proposition K.
And is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Avalos. Thank you. I believe we can do this do we have to do this by roll call, or can we do this by acclamation? Sorry, point of order. Since this is an endorsement.
Call of the chair.
Okay, to the call of the chair, then let's just do this by acclamation. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Nay. Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Feinstein abstains. Otherwise, the motion passes. So thank you, Vice Chair Lovett, for fielding this, and also to Vice Chair Lacroix for walking us through that. And thank you, members, for making this quick and easy. We will now move on to item number 7, which is the endorsement of candidates for local elected office, specifically for the district attorney. And for this, I will pass it on to co-chairs, members Ibanez and Berry.
Thank you so much, Chair Mahogany. And I will let co-chair Gloria speak, and then I'll follow her.
Thank you, Co-Chair Ibanez. Yes, everyone, thank you. We're on our last endorsement vote of the year, hopefully. And we did the process for district attorney. We did the questionnaires, and a special shout out to intern Styler, who helped input with the writing of the questionnaire and getting that Executive Director Garcia in on time. And thank you for his role in getting timelines efficient. We sent the questionnaires out, they returned them, and we held interviews this past Saturday for 3 candidates. One of them was the 4th candidate on the ballot was declined to state what party he belonged to and never returned any information on how to get him a questionnaire or whatnot. So we did the 3 on Saturday. Tonight we will be voting, and I asked before we get to the voting and before we get to discussion that Recording Secretary Lee clearly explain the vote process, which she always does really well, but tonight I think it's imperative that it's clear that it's ranked choice voting, and we will have different rounds and whatnot, and the way that process will go. Other than that, the members that came Saturday asked very important questions. So thank you to all that came to the endorsement committee meeting. And other than that, Co-Chair Ibanez, if you'd like to add anything.
Now, I just want to say thank you to everyone who attended the interview meeting on Saturday. It was a good meeting. We had quite a few members of the DCCC in attendance, and it's always great to see participation in this endorsement, especially this year has been a year full of endorsements. This is the last one, as co-chair Barry mentioned, and very appreciative always of Executive Garcia, our interns, and of course, thank you to my co-chair Gloria for always taking the lead and making sure that we're asking the right questions that really impact our community. And with that, that's our report.
Thank you. I believe at this time we can open it up to comments from the members, and we have Member Tung and members Tung and Thomas on stack in that order.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. I wanted to just say this because I will be declaring myself having a conflict of interest for this discussion. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to actually discuss the conflict of interest in our bylaws for a second. It's under Article 4, Section 9, which states that members determined to have a clear and direct economic self-interest in a matter before the SFDCCC shall neither comment on nor vote on said matter. And then it goes into some procedural things about ruling on conflicts of interest and whatnot. And I didn't really think about it too much because this is a political body until I had to think about it for myself. And I think that in the last 2 years, as I've sat on this body, that there have been many people who have voted on matters and endorsements that have direct conflicts of interest, particularly people who either are running themselves for elective office and have voted for themselves, or were employed by a person who was running for elective office. And so I just wanted to take this opportunity to remind everybody on the body that we should be policing ourselves on conflicts of interest. It fundamentally undermines the voting of this body when we don't. And that I do appreciate that not everyone has the time or the interest in reading our bylaws, but they are an important governing document with respect to this body. So I will be recusing myself from further discussion on this topic. And also I'm not quite feeling well, so I may absent myself from part of the meeting towards the end, but thank you everyone for your time.
Thank you, Member Tung. We'll now go on to Member Thomas.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. I just wanted to give a shout out to the committee chairs who organized the interview. I think the interviews, I think that's a ton of work, and it was well run. And this is not the first time they've had to do this. So I just felt they deserved a shout out for the amount of work that goes into putting those together. I think it's helpful not just for the members of the DCCC, but the other Democrats throughout the county who use it as a resource to get to know candidates better. So just wanted to make note of that. I guess since this is a time to speak on this, I also want to convey to folks that I will be abstaining on this vote. I have had a chance to talk to several of the candidates and many stakeholders on this, and due to many of the stakeholders that I trust and represent in this body who have endorsed at cross purposes of each other, I will be abstaining from this vote.
Thank you, Member Thomas. Member Avalos.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. I just wanted to respond to Member Tung's comments. Our bylaws are talking about a conflict of interest where one of us would have a material gain based on property. It is not based on whether you will have, gain elective office and get an income of elected office that is not what the bylaws have been set up for. And so this body, the Democratic County Central Committee, has had elected officials serving on it at least since my memory goes back to 2008. And some of them had been, making endorsements on themselves and on their elected officials that they served. It's just been part and parcel of the work of a political body and a political endorsement body that the Democratic County Central Committee is. So I would encourage you not to rescind your vote, but vote your conscience. Even if you abstain or vote no endorsement, it is in your full right to be able to use your vote here in this place, despite that you could be supporting someone who would have a job and your job is tied to that. So I just want to make sure that you're clear that, there's a whole history and experience, and it's never been, come into being recognized as something that is a conflict of interest. And our city attorney in San Francisco has also weighed in on this, going back several city attorneys to Dennis Herrera, at least opined on this. So I think we're okay to vote, in that way. And I, for one, have voted a number of times for myself as a member of the Democratic County Central Committee, and for actually, yeah. And so I think it's not an issue. So I do want to encourage you to participate in this process, however you want to and however you want to vote. I wanted to telegraph what my vote's going to be on the district attorney's vote. I will be voting for John Hamasaki, number 1, and Joel Lioto Veronese, number 2. It's not easy for me to support, Joe Veronese, but I also believe that it's important that we send a real strong message about the kind of campaigning and candidates that we want to support. I have a deep concern about how the recall was funded, how the recall was campaigned for and the structures of the campaigning for the recall, and the structures of how people could volunteer for the campaign. I'm talking about Brooke Jenkins, of course, our interim DA, how she could volunteer for a campaign and be paid for from a nonprofit that was not a C4, but a C3 nonprofit that is, more service-oriented or research-oriented nonprofit work. And it's not necessarily a bad thing to actually work for a nonprofit and volunteer for a C4 campaign. But if you're actually not going to share what the nature of the relationship was and hide behind whatever rationale you want to hide behind, like whether it's attorney-client privilege or something else, and not share what the relationship was, not produce the body of work that you had supposedly had created for from the C3, and the public is wanting to know that so they can actually have trust in the district attorney who's now serving as interim DA. And when the district attorney as a campaign volunteer was actually campaigned for a job that ultimately she would carry, those raise some serious questions about how we are conducting, our business here of campaigning and politicking in San Francisco. To me, there's a conflict of interest that's there that is not being revealed, and the public has the right to know. And if we are actually supporting a candidate who has not come clean about what the nature of her work is, and I would like to think that there was, it is possible for her to actually share her work without, and it could be totally on the up and up, but the public doesn't have that information to be totally aware of what the nature of that relationship was. That is something that we are putting our vote behind. That is something that we are putting our personal integrity behind. That is something that we're saying, this is what San Francisco should be like, that we should actually trust that candidates tell us the truth when they won't share us the whole truth. That is not how we should be conducting our business. We have a former president of the United States who has absconded with confidential, top secret material and is claiming that he had executive privilege on that. And he wants, part of the public trusts him. What part of the public do we want to be when we actually say that, oh, I'm sure what she's not revealing, what Brooke Jenkins is not revealing to us is okay, because she's going to be the district attorney and she's going to uphold the law and she's going to practice the kind of law that we know she can. How can we actually have confidence in that statement if we don't have a full reckoning of what the relationship was? So to me, separate from not agreeing with the policy direction that she's setting for the district attorney's office, I think there's a fundamental issue of integrity about how we want to conduct our business here in San Francisco. And when we have a mayor of San Francisco who is requiring people that she wants to appoint to commissions to sign an dated letter of resignation prior to their serving on a commission or being reappointed to a commission, and the city attorney says that there's nothing in our city charter that says that's not right to do, but it's frowned upon. We have a serious problem that we are green lighting extortion. We are green lighting the ability to use your political power to control and influence other people. That is what we are seeing right now as a city and county of San Francisco. And the Democratic County Central Committee has a chance to actually vote with integrity on this. You can vote no endorsement, you can vote for alternative candidates, but I actually think it would be wrong for us to vote for interim DA Brooke Jenkins from the Democratic Party. If we believe that there should be accountability for former President Donald Trump for stealing documents and not sharing with the public what the nature of those documents are, and we expect, District Attorney DA Jenkins not to share information about what her campaign is, we have a serious problem. And we need to be consistent on our values. We need to be consistent about what democracy should be founded on. We should be consistent on what we expect of candidates who are running for office, that they share as much as they can about what it is that they are doing when they're running for office and when they're campaigning for, especially for a recall that's funded by billionaires who actually are funding the right wing across the country. We have to question, our integrity of our votes and what we stand for. So I am voting against District Attorney Brooke Jenkins for District Attorney. I'm voting for John Hamasaki, and I'll be voting number 2 for Joe Eliotto Veronese.
Thank you, Member Avalos, for your comments, and also it's very helpful to have your long history in SF politics as a part of the conversation. So thank you for that as well. We will now go on to Member Berry.
Thank you, Chair. Some of my comments are along the line of Member Avalos. However, I want to put my comments in my words. With DA Jenkins, I really hope no one votes for her tonight. I'm very sick of dishonest people. In February, she came to this body and straight up lied that someone committed a crime, then could not even articulate what the crime was. We know some lawyers lie, but we should not have dishonest people representing our city. She's also campaigning a lie. We all agree crime throughout the country is out of control and drug addiction is rampant. However, to tell the public the 5th time someone is seen using drugs, they will be sent to mandatory drug treatment is a lie. The DA can't make anything mandatory. Only the judge can. Plus, we don't even have vacant beds to accomplish this. Stating a policy to give the appearance that she is doing something and giving people a false sense of hope for election purposes and not telling the truth. Jenkins also avoided a lot of our questions on the questionnaire and at the interview on Saturday. Also on Saturday, I was very concerned that she did not see the correlation between housing and the need for reparations to right a lot of wrongs in this city, specifically through mass incarceration. She also would not answer my questions stating this is not an investigation. I felt that was rude for her to say to me, and I was voted to this body because I keep it real, which means asking questions that my community wants answers to. I appreciate Hamasaki and Alioto for all their answering of our questions on Saturday. I will be supporting John Hamasaki for many reasons. And the many reasons, the most important reason rather, is that he's not putting fluff on his campaign. He's keeping it what a district attorney line of duty is, what they're capable of doing, what policies he will support that have been in the past, and what he can do to empathize specifically with the Asian community. With him being an Asian man, he explained to us Saturday some of the bullying and getting beat up as a child, being an Asian man in a majority white neighborhood, what that was like. And I think someone like him would be able to not lie to the community and really do serious solutions and true empathy, not just for campaign purposes. So in conclusion, I just want to say I will be supporting Hamasaki as my first choice for District Attorney of San Francisco. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Member Berry. We'll go to Vice Chair Baraka, then Member Ibanez and Vice Chair Lovett.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. I would just like to keep my comments very brief and say that I like to associate myself with the comments of former Supervisor and Member Avalos. I think that he hit the nail on the head in describing their perception. And I believe that it is important for our elected officials to be rigorously honest with the electorate. And I just believe that there wasn't 100% honesty in her representation. So I will be voting for John Hamasaki, number 1, and Joe Alioto Veradese, number 2. And I hope other members can support the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Baraka. Next, we have Member Ibanez.
Thank you so much, Chair Mahogany. I align my comments with the previous members, but I want to say from my own experience, especially someone that has worked for a long time also in doing criminal reform or criminal justice reform. I do believe that there is a movement going and that we're making changes, and those changes are very, obviously I feel like when you're on the right side of history and you're fighting for those changes to be right, it takes us slow and we move very slow, and sometimes we take one step forward and then we take 10 steps back. For me, I think that having candidate Hamasaki be our next DA is very important. I think he brings in the perspective and the values that we have as Democrats, and in terms of really working with making sure that also we continue with the changes that we have done in the criminal justice reform system, not just the way I call them sometimes the flavor of the month or the flavor of the year reforms, but actually real reforms that we've been fighting for many, many centuries. And I think that, to me, I'm not going to state what other members indicated, but I am going to say that for me, the way I heard candidate Jenkins is that her comments were very dishonest, and I do believe she's unethical. And I think that this position as the DA, you have to be someone who has to be very ethical, someone who has high values and very ethical. And I do have worries and concerns about that. And also, I am concerned that she can't differentiate between volunteering and getting paid. I mean, it's very, very important, especially when you're campaigning. And we all know how that is. And I'm also really concerned with her policies and the direction she's going to be taking. For me, San Francisco leads with progressive policies. and we make progressive policies here in San Francisco, the rest of California would follow. And then when California leads on progressive policies, then the rest of the country follows. Some of her recommendations to incarcerate youth and that you have 5 strikes really bothers me. And that's something that we've been fighting against. And I feel that now we're going to have 5 strikes in San Francisco. What does that mean for the rest of California and for the rest of the nation when we've been fighting against 3 strikes? We know that 3 strikes did not work. And so we need, I believe that in San Francisco, we need better. And this is one of the reasons why I will be supporting John Hamasaki as my number 1 and Veronese as my number 2. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Ibanez. Vice Chair Levitt.
So I've had the opportunity to talk to DA Jenkins, and it helped to unpack some of these new policies. You've heard it here from members Berry and members Ibanez around this 5 strikes, around how people who are found using drugs, very likely on the streets, are going to be cited and then likely prosecuted. The critical issue is that we have to have the resources, the social services, the treatment beds. That all has to be in place, because already when you're looking at the criminal justice system, it's doing on the back end what hasn't happened on the front end. And that's something that candidate Hamasaki realizes, that there's so much of a need to invest up front. That, of course, isn't the job of the DA, but when you hold that broader perspective, then you can truly look at what tears the fabric of a community, a family, a society apart, and what helps it to stay together. And I think there's this idea that there's been this idea that incarceration is about accountability. And when you cannot incarcerate your way to a better community, because so many people are hurt in that process. I've had, as I've said at this body, I have had a family member, an extended family member, who was in prison for 15 years, and that was part of the whole war on drugs. Where does that get you? So I am voting in terms of my principles around how I feel about the criminal justice system, because it affects all of us. And definitely with all the crimes and all the attacks on the API community, that's something that is both a personal concern, but it's also a public health issue. There is just so much that we need to do in terms of greater access for immigrants, in terms of bringing our communities together, so we don't see attacks as black on black, black on white, or however they are framed. I also want to point to the issues that still concern me around the issues around conflict of interest. So on Saturday at the endorsement interviews, I was asking what basically has been documented in the SF standard coverage and SF Chronicle around this really tangled web, right? It's like she is a volunteer, but she also got paid handsome sums of money by Neighbors for Better San Francisco, and then also by these smaller nonprofits, so that Mary Jung, erstwhile chair of this body and very influential, has been both her boss for the volunteer work as well as for the paid work. And her answer was, well, as a volunteer, she would be told where to go and she would do that. It's not that straightforward. And wasn't it interesting in February when the Issues Committee ran the endorsement interviews at that point for the DA recall, that she was having trouble logging on or having internet access while she was traveling. I held this space and it took a good 10 minutes, but they insisted, the proponents of the recall insisted that she be the spokesperson. And so there's definitely been a ladder. There's definitely been, however, we don't know how the appointment ultimately got made. But certainly the path was paved in some ways. And so there's so many unanswered questions, and for something as important and consequential as the DA race, I call that I call that question very, very important. And those concerns very important. So I am supporting John Hamasaki, number 1, and I am supporting Joe Aliota Veronese, number 2.
Thank you, Vice Chair Lovett. Treasurer Morales.
You know what? I'm trying to think if I need to say anything else, because what's the point? Honestly, I guess the voters is the point, but I'm just not sure how many of our voters are able to be watching tonight, but okay, I guess I'll say something. Really, yesterday, The Standard also wrote a story about yet another like iffy situation with the executive branch of our city, right? 40 different resignation letters pre-signed have come out throughout our commissions, boards and commissions in San Francisco, members that have been appointed by Mayor London Breed. And now we have both of our, possible investigative law enforcement prosecuting bodies, the city attorney's office and the district attorney's office, are both appointed by Mayor Breed. And even though I believe in the integrity of City Attorney David Chu, and I understand that, just because Brooke Jenkins is appointed by Breed doesn't mean that she's gonna do everything that Breed says. At the same time, it's, it is quite difficult to believe that your decisions are not going to be, in part at least, you're going to question the decisions that you're making before making them, right? The independence is not as strong and as trusted as if both of these positions weren't appointed by the mayor. And that is a big concern for me. And I also think, as someone who really wishes to see a lot more women of color and queer and trans people of color in higher office, I also think that, and I have said this before, I don't believe that identity politics is enough on its own, or it's something that should be used kind of like to mask other pieces of our lives, or to hide different pieces, or use as a political pawn. And I was, saddened and continue to be saddened that that the DA is claiming her father's heritage as a reason to say that she understands what the immigrant community goes through. I think that is really hard for me to hear, perhaps because of my own trauma, because I did have to work without papers under the table, because I went through violence having to do that. And because I know what it is to be an immigrant Latina and to see so many of our Latino folks that, grew up with their families or without their families here. The great struggle, right? And that really made me very sad. And it worries me. I just think that it's important for me to have a leader that can be humble and that can actually listen to those who are closest to issues, and who can basically, through that, show that they can be nimble and can see the nuance in issues. And the most important question that I made on Saturday was regarding all of the youth that are truthfully being trafficked in the Tenderloin to sell drugs. And there wasn't a response that tackled that matter. Instead, there was a sharing of story of a father who had a visa and decided to go back after the visa expired. And that makes it hard to grow up without a dad, but it doesn't give the story of a Latina woman, you know, growing up with a deported dad. Like it just, the obscuring of reality was really worrisome to me. And I just hope, you know, we all grow, and I hope that piece can be revised for her as somebody with such a high position of power in San Francisco, you know, from those of us who are trying to represent the most disenfranchised in our city. Also the fact that she, while answering our questions, said that we didn't understand what the needs of San Franciscans were and that we were out of touch, was pretty insulting too. Like, just why? Like, no need to insult us, especially when we don't have as much power as you do. So I will be supporting John Hamasaki, and I am likely to be also supporting Mr. Veronesi to try to get any semblance of independence. Thank you.
Thank you, Treasurer Morales. We'll now go to Vice Chair Lacroix.
Ooh, okay, I wish I had a little more time to gather my thoughts. I did not plan on saying anything on this item until I heard from my colleagues just now. Whew, okay, as someone who is Caribbean, African, and a Black, are all very tough and to navigate, especially when people see you a certain way, and then especially in politics, they expect, whether you are, you know, in our playing field, progressive, moderate, somewhere between or whatever, there are expectations around that as well. And we can be respectful when we talk about those things and talk about other folks, but I think there's some, and I'm sure this isn't intentional, but I would be remiss to not point it out, that as we talk about Black people and Black women especially, to just be mindful of the language that we use. I'll preface this by saying that I am abstaining tonight for all of these races for my own reasons. But I think it's just when you hear things like, and I'm happy to have this conversation offline, but when we're talking about like Black people and Black women and hearing things like they're not trustworthy and they're inauthentic or like be humble and stuff, like whoever it's from and to direct it to whatever person, I just want to implore all of us to be more mindful of how we are talking about other people of color and other women. And I'll just say too, like even like with my own vote tonight and my own progressive values, hearing somebody say like, oh, people like Black women need to be more humble, and to question someone who is Afro-Latina like me on how they can present themselves and how they own and occupy that space, that's what we're not going to do. And so I'll leave it at that. This isn't an attack or anything against anybody else, but I just want to again say that we can question people's votes or decisions or policy positions, but it gets to a line when like all of us need to just be more kind and gracious and mindful and respectful of each other, period. And I can provide further context from what I'm saying offline, but I just wanted to put that out there because this is something that I have heard and noticed, not just in this discussion, not just for this race, but for years, and it is triggering. And I just want us all to take a moment to think about how we're talking about each other, think about how we're talking about other folks, and do an inventory of our language. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chair Lacroix. I do not see anyone else in queue for comments. So would someone like to Actually, I should turn it over now to our co-chairs, Barry and Ibanez.
Yes, thank you, Chair. And before we get into the vote, I just wanted to provide some data. I called the district attorney's office last week. They hung up in my face, but I called back and I asked for information. I don't know why that would make them hang up on me, but the information I got was last month, 1,001 people were booked into San Francisco County Jail. However, 1,034 were released. So that's up 21% from last year on how many people get released from jail. So the tough on crime, the narrative that's being sold is just not the truth. And again, it's the judge that makes the decision, not the DA. So, you know, crime up or down, it's not the DA, it's the judge. So with that being said, I want to just put some facts out there. Recording Secretary Lee, if you are ready to break it down, this vote tonight is so important and we don't want any confusion. You know, we want it to be really clear. So if you could break it down and how you're tallying the different rounds, the ranks and whatnot, I appreciate you.
Absolutely. And before I do that, I will just say that Member Chen expresses that she is sad she can't be here, but is not feeling well. And if you did not know, she is pregnant right now. So I hope you can all be understanding. So with the district attorney endorsements, this is our rank choice endorsement. So how it'll work is we'll go rank by rank, 1, 2, then 3. And with each round of voting that we do, before we can move on to the next rank, that option needs to receive 50 plus 1. So if the first round of voting, no endorsement gets 50 plus 1 after we count the abstentions, we are done. So for those who want to put their rank 1, say that rank, and then I don't think I'm explaining this very well, but we've done it before. So your options for each of the ranks are John Hamasaki, Brooke Jenkins, Joe Veronese, no endorsement, or abstain. If you pass, I will come back to you after that round of voting is recorded. And I've got Annabelle Moises, Chair Banez, Chair Barry, and Edie Garcia in the dock so they can check votes. Does anyone have questions about the voting? Okay.
I do, Janice.
Yeah, sure.
So as you go around and we give our votes, if, for instance, as I described, I wanted to vote for John number 1 and Alioto Veronese number 2, would I say that and then no endorsement for the 3, or
No,
just go?
We go rank by rank. So I'm going to say rank 1 and you just name one option. So for you, Keith, if you want to vote Hamasaki as your number 1, I'm going to say rank 1. I say member Baraka, and you're going to say Hamasaki, and I'll be like Baraka Hamasaki, and then I'll go to the next member. And then only after one of the ranks is completed, and as long as it's not no endorsement, then we will go on to the next rank. And then I'll say for rank 2, tell me what your choice is.
Understood. Thank you.
Great. Okay, great. So once again, your options are Hamasaki, Jenkins, Veronese, no endorsement, or abstain. And if you pass, I'll come back to you. And I'm going to go off of the roll call that we had before, that Edie Garcia had done initially. So member Oblos.
John Hamasaki.
Oblos Hamasaki. Member Baraka.
Hamasaki.
Baraka Hamasaki. Member Barry.
Hamasaki.
Member Barry Hamasaki. Member Campos.
Hamasaki.
Member Campos Hamasaki. Member Chen is Hamasaki. Member Dufty.
No endorsement.
Member Dufty, no endorsement. Member Galata.
Hamasaki.
Member Galata Hamasaki. Member Ibanez.
Hamasaki.
Member Ibanez Hamasaki. Member Kim. Member Kim is excused. Member Lacroix. Member Lacroix.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute. Abstain.
Member Lacroix abstain. Member Lee pass. Member Loftus. Member Loftus, I think, is absent. Member Lovett. Member Lovett.
Oh, she looks frozen.
Okay, I'll come back to her. Chair Mahogany.
Abstain.
Chair Mahogany abstain. Member Mandelman.
No endorsement.
Member Mandelman, no endorsement. Member Marr.
Abstain.
Member Marr abstain. Member Maliga.
No endorsement.
Member Maliga, no endorsement. Member Morales.
Hamasaki.
Member Morales Hamasaki. Member Raju.
Hamasaki.
Member Raju Hamasaki. Member Ronan.
Hamasaki.
Thank you. Member Ronan Hamasaki. Member Thomas.
Abstain.
Member Thomas abstain. Member Tong. I think Member Tong might.
Yeah, I don't know if my conflict of interest requires if that's an abstention or if that's, I mean, which I guess would be the same as not present, right?
Yes. What would you prefer it noted as, either excused or abstain?
I'll abstain due to
Okay.
the conflict of interest. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Williams?
Abstain.
Member Williams abstain. Member Zoe?
No endorsement by proxy.
Member Zoe, no endorsement. Member Feinstein?
Abstain.
Member Feinstein abstain. Member Pelosi? Member Pelosi is excused. Member Spear is excused. Member Kounalakis is absent. So Member Ma?
No endorsement.
Member Ma, no endorsement. Member Cohen?
No endorsement.
Member Cohen, no endorsement. Member Weiner?
No endorsement.
Member Weiner, no endorsement. Member Haney? Member Haney is excused. Member Ting?
Abstain.
Member Ting abstain. The only person that passes me, and I will be voting no endorsement. So after the tally.
Sorry.
Yes.
I was
Oh.
unable to report my vote.
Okay, Member Lovett.
Yeah, Hamasaki.
Thank you. Member Lovett votes Hamasaki. So after all the votes are tallied, there are 11 votes for Hamasaki, 0 for Jenkins, 0 for Veronese. There are 8 abstentions and there are 8 no endorsements. So congratulations, John Hamasaki, you've received the #1 endorsement of the DCCC. I will now move on to rank 2. Your options here are Jenkins, Veronese, no endorsement, or abstain. If no endorsement receives 50 plus 1 of the vote, that means that John Hamasaki will receive the sole endorsement of the DCCC. If another candidate gets 50 plus 1, they'll receive the second rank. So I'll start with you, Member Avalos.
Alioto Veronese.
Avalos Veronese, Member Baraka.
Alioto Veronese.
Baraka Veronese, Member Barry.
Pass.
Member Barry will pass. Member Campos.
Veronese.
Campos Veronese. Member Chen is no endorsement, either or abstain, I will check. Member Dufty.
No endorsement.
Member Dufty, no endorsement. Member Galata. Member Galata.
Veronese.
Member Galata Veronese. Member Banyas.
Veronese.
Member Banyas Veronese. Member Lacroix.
Abstain.
Member Lacroix abstain. Member Lee, no endorsement. Member Lovett.
Alioto Veronese.
Member Lovett Veronese. Chair Mahogany.
Abstain.
Chair Mahogany abstain. Member Mandelman.
No endorsement.
Member Mandelman, no endorsement. Member Marr.
Pass.
Member Marr pass. Member Maliga.
No endorsement.
Member Maliga, no endorsement. Member Morales.
Veronese.
Member Morales Veronese. Member Raju.
Alioto Veronese.
Member Raju Veronese. Member Ronan.
Abstain.
Member Ronan abstain, Member Thomas.
Abstain.
Member Thomas abstain, Member Tung. Member Tung?
Sorry, abstain. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Member Tung abstain, Member Williams.
Abstain.
Member Williams abstain, Member Zoe.
No endorsement by proxy.
Member Zoe, no endorsement. Member Feinstein.
Abstain.
Member Feinstein abstain, Member Ma.
Pass.
Member Ma pass, Member Cohen.
No endorsement.
Member Cohen, no endorsement. Member Weiner.
No endorsement.
Member Weiner, no endorsement. Member Ting.
Abstain.
Member Ting abstain. I think there were a couple who passed. Member Barry.
Varanasi.
Member Barry Veronese. Member Mar.
Abstain.
Member Mar abstain. And then Member Ma, I think, is the last vote to record.
No endorsement.
Member Ma, no endorsement. So after counting up all the votes, there are 0 for Jenkins, there are 9 for Veronese, Eliota Veronese, there are 9 abstentions and 9 no endorsements. Nothing gets 50 plus 1, so this means that we have to repeat the rank 2 vote. I think it's at the discretion of the chair and or Chair Mahogany and or the endorsements chairs if you would like to make any comments, as we will need to redo the rank 2 vote so that we can get 50 plus 1.
And what were the, sorry, Recording Secretary Lee, could you repeat what everything got? I believe it's between no endorsement and.
It's actually 9, 9, and 9. So 9 for Veronese, 9 abstentions, and 9 no endorsements. So right now we are tied between 9 for Veronese and 9 no endorsements. So neither gets 50 plus 1.
Okay.
Point of information.
Yes, Member Thomas.
I think I might have mistyped, but did Member Mar vote for Alioto Veronese?
No, Mar was a abstention.
I did mistype. Thank you.
So just to clarify, we will have to repeat until we get to either a no endorsement on this or Alioto Veronese. So I don't know if anyone will have a change of heart, but let's do one more round and see where we end up. Are we able to just ask if anyone would like to change their vote? I don't see why we wouldn't be able to.
I think we should just go down the roll again and see where people are. And if there's no consensus, then it's no position or, yeah, no position, no endorsement, or Alioto Veronese, I think will end up being the end result.
But just in a way for us to save time and not just to do it again for everyone to have the same exact vote, is there anyone who would like to change their vote? Because we could just go in rounds and rounds and do the same vote exactly the same. Maybe somebody who was on the fence and wasn't sure that they were going to vote that way.
Yeah, well, that was the practice we had, I think, during our last endorsement meeting. So let's just see. Maybe as we call the roll, people will feel a different way and maybe not want to speak up.
Point of information.
Yes.
I believe that at the thank you so much, Member Chair Mahogany. I believe that at the last endorsement meeting, we had a similar situation where we were at a 50 plus 50, and basically because no one could get a 50 plus 1 according to our bylaws. I mean, according to the bylaws, you have to have a 50 plus 1 in order to get our endorsement. And it seems like at this situation, we're 50-50. Therefore, the way I read it, that there's no endorsement. And I heard Vice Chair LaCroix said something similar.
Unfortunately, because no endorsement is one of the options, and I think per the way that Recording Secretary Lee explained it, we do have to actually pick one or the other. And to that point, I don't want to belabor this. We will go in and just do another vote after we get through the comments, but we did go through 5, I think, or maybe 6 repeats through the roll before, and I'm just trying to avoid that, which is why I'm asking if there's anyone who's willing to change their vote so that we don't have to do it 5 times. But with that being said, we'll go to Member Barry and then Vice Chair Lovett.
Yeah, so if we do go through the votes again, and this is just information purposes, I'm asking this, Jenkins will not be in that since she got the lowest.
Well, anyone can, we're not eliminating anyone, but what we are doing is saying that we're at 9 and 9. No one's voted for Jenkins. And if somebody would like to change their vote, then we might have a different outcome and be able to move on.
Okay. I'm sorry. And my other question is for flyer purposes, will the names appear first rank choice, Hamasaki, and then second rank, if we have an endorsement or not? Would it be worded like that?
I can speak to that if you'd like, Chair Mahogany.
Sure.
Member Barry, good question. We have had previous instances where we've done ranked choice endorsements, and to comply with the law and also with ours, we signify our first endorsement for the race and our second endorsement for the race very clearly on our literature.
Thank you, Member Thomas. Vice Chair Lovett.
Yeah, I just want to echo what Chair Mahogany is saying. So right now we have 9 abstentions. Let's say if we got to 12 abstentions, right, that would be 33 minus the 12. And so you'd have to have potentially 10 at that point, but it just depends on how people want to move or not want to move. So this is a math problem.
All right. Thank you, Vice Chair Lovett. Vice Chair Braca.
My question's already been addressed, I believe. So the threshold, if we were to get a second one, would require, based upon these votes, someone would need to change their vote to either for Veronese or abstain. Is that what you're saying?
Or vote no endorsement.
Okay.
And then we'll go to Member Thomas and then Vice Chair Galata, and then we can give it another go. Member Thomas?
Sorry, I forgot to unmute myself. Mine was just a question for Recording Secretary Lee. Sorry again, I think I'm just tired. Did you say that there were 9 no endorsements on the last round?
Yes, there were 9 for Veronese, 9 abstentions, and 9 no endorsements.
Okay. And Member Chen voted by proxy no endorsement, it sounds like?
I apologize. I said I was going to double check. Yes, it's no endorsement.
Does that change anything or?
No, I had recorded it accurately.
Thank you.
My recommendation is let's just do a full roll call vote. And if we seriously have the same exact votes, then I think let's do a little bit of discussion and see if anyone's willing to move. I think realistically, you're either moving the abstain or no endorsement to Veronese, or you're moving an abstain to no endorsement or vice versa. That'll flip the math, as Member Lovett said.
Sorry, really quickly, could we just for clarity's sake run through what the full options are for our second round, just because there's been a lot of discussion about what would move the vote versus what are our actual options?
Your options on the table are Jenkins, Veronese, no endorsement, or abstain. If we can get 50 plus 1 for Veronese, he will receive the number 2. No one voted for Jenkins, but if she were to suddenly receive 50 plus 1, she would receive number 2. If no endorsement receives 50 plus 1, then Hamasaki will be sole endorsed by DCCC.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Chair Ibanez, do you want to make a note before we went through the roll call vote?
Sorry, go ahead, Chair Ibanez.
Actually, my question was answered. Thank you. Sorry, I should have put my hand down.
All good. let's go forward with a roll call vote. Is that all right?
Yes, let's please move forward with the roll call.
Great. So this is, once again, we're going to do for the rank 2, your options are Jenkins, Veronese, no endorsement, or abstain. And if you pass, I'll come back to you. Member Avalos.
Alioto Veronese.
Avalos Veronese. Baraka.
Alioto Veronese.
Member Baraka Veronese. Member Barry.
Veronese.
Member Barry Veronese. Member Campos.
Veronese.
Member Campos Veronese. Member Chen is no endorsement. Member Dufty.
No endorsement.
Member Dufty is no endorsement. Member Galata.
Veronese.
Member Galata is Veronese. Member Ibanez.
Veronese.
Ibanez Veronese. Member Lacroix.
Pass, please.
Member Lacroix pass. Member Lee no endorsement. Member Lovett.
Alioto Veronese.
Member Lovett Veronese. Member Mahogany. Chair Mahogany.
Pass.
Chair Mahogany pass. Member Mandelman.
No endorsement.
Member Mandelman no endorsement. Member Marr.
Abstain.
Member Marr abstain. Member Maliga.
No endorsement.
Member Maliga no endorsement. Member Morales.
Veronese.
Member Morales Veronese. Member Raju.
Alioto Veronese.
Member Raju Veronese. Member Ronan.
No endorsement.
Member Ronan no endorsement. Member Thomas.
Abstain.
Member Thomas abstain. Member Tung.
Stay.
Member Tung abstain. Member Williams.
Abstain.
Member Williams abstain. Member Zhou.
No endorsement by proxy.
Member Zhou no endorsement. Member Feinstein.
Abstain.
Member Feinstein abstain. Member Ma.
Pass.
Member Ma pass. Member Cohen.
No endorsement.
Member Cohen no endorsement. Member Weiner.
No endorsement.
Member Weiner no endorsement. Member Ting.
Abstain.
Member Ting abstain. I'm going to repeat the vote totals before I go back to those who have passed. So right now there are 9 votes for Veronese. There are 6 abstentions and there are 9 no endorsements, meaning we are still at 50 and have not reached the 50+1 threshold. So to go back to those who have passed, Member Lacroix.
Abstain.
Member Lacroix abstain. Chair Mahogany.
Veronese.
Chair Mahogany, Veronese. Member Ma.
No endorsement.
Member Ma, no endorsement.
Sorry.
There has been movement, but unhelpful movement, in which there are now 10 votes for Veronese. There are 7 abstentions and there are 10 no endorsements. So perhaps Chair Mahogany, yeah.
May I change my vote before we finalize it?
Absolutely.
I would like to abstain.
Got it. Does anyone else like to change their vote? Otherwise, this final vote count will stand as is.
Can we change Ronan to an abstention? Will that make a difference?
Yes, it will. Wait.
Yes, that will not help.
Okay, never mind then.
As it stands right now, we have 9 for Veronese. There are 8 abstentions and 10 no endorsements. If this stands, that means that Hamasaki will receive the sole endorsement of DCCC.
I don't think that there's anyone else who's going to change their vote at this point.
Fuck. Okay. Oh shit.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't realize I was on mute. Off mute.
Chair Mahogany, I'll defer to you when you want to close the vote.
I think we should close the vote and move on.
May we? Sorry, thinking. I'll change my vote for Alioto Veronese, if that is helpful.
That isn't, because then we end up with 10-10, but if you will change it, then I will change mine as well. So I will also vote for Veronese so we can move on. I think.
Okay. Chair Mahogany, if your vote for number 2 is listed as Veronese and the same for you, Member Lacroix, that would bring the vote total to 11 for Veronese, 6 abstentions, 10 no endorsements, and Veronese would receive this number 2 endorsement. Again, I will defer to you about closing the vote.
Let's please close the vote.
Great. That does mean we need to move on to rank 3. So congratulations, Joe Alioto Veronese, you have received the number 2 endorsement for District Attorney from SFDCCC. For rank 3, your options are Jenkins, no endorsement, or abstain. Member Avalos.
No endorsement.
Avalos, no endorsement. Member Braca.
No endorsement.
Member Braca, no endorsement. Member Barry.
No endorsement.
Member Barry, no endorsement. Member Campos.
No endorsement.
Member Campos, no endorsement. Member Chen, no endorsement. Member Dufty.
No endorsement.
Member Dufty, no endorsement. Member Galata.
No endorsement.
Member Galata, no endorsement. Member Ibanez.
No endorsement.
Member Ibanez, no endorsement. Member Lacroix.
Abstain.
Member Lacroix abstain. Member Lee, no endorsement. Member Lovett.
No endorsement.
Member Lovett, no endorsement. Chair Mahogany.
No endorsement.
Chair Mahogany, no endorsement. Member Mandelman.
No endorsement.
Member Mandelman, no endorsement. Member Marr.
Pass.
Member Marr pass. Member Moliga.
No endorsement.
Member Moliga, no endorsement. Member Morales. Member Morales. I'll pass. Member Raju.
No endorsement.
Member Raju, no endorsement. Member Ronan. I think that's currently no. Member Thomas, Member Thomas.
Abstain.
Member Thomas abstain. Member Tung.
Abstain.
Member Tung abstain. Member Williams.
Abstain.
Member Williams abstain. Member Zoe. That's you, AJ.
Oh,
Member,
sorry. No endorsement by proxy. Thank you
Member
for the
Zoe,
reminder.
no endorsement. Member Feinstein.
Abstain.
Member Feinstein abstain. Member Ma.
Abstain.
Member Ma abstain. Member Cohen.
No endorsement.
Member Cohen, no endorsement. Member Weiner.
No endorsement.
Member Weiner, no endorsement. Member Ting.
Abstain.
Member Ting abstain. Member Marr. To return.
Abstain.
Thank you. And then Member Morales, are you there?
Yes. Sorry, no endorsement, Morales and Ronan.
Okay, received. So after doing rank 3 voting, there were 0 for Jenkins, 8 abstentions, 19 no endorsements. So the final DCCC endorsements for District Attorney are number 1, Hamasaki, number 2, Veronese. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Recording Secretary Lee, for keeping track of that and helping us get through that. And thank you to our 2 endorsement co-chairs. Member Barry.
Yeah, I wanted to just say thank you also, and to let people know that 3 years ago when this body went through this for DA, I got so pissed off, I ran for DCCC. I was like, I need to be on this body. And it's nice to see that we have a majority progressive body here, and I'm very happy about the outcomes of the vote. So thank you for all participating, and that all the work I did to get on this body was worth it.
Thank you, Member Barry. Vice Chair Lacroix.
Yeah, before we close out this section of the agenda, I do just want to reiterate my comments from earlier again, just for all of us to be more mindful of how we are speaking of each other and other people in leadership positions. I know sometimes it's easy to get caught up in certain things, but I just want to again be, that guardrail for all of us to just be mindful of how we speak about each other, and the language that we use, and how sometimes it can be coded or it can be, triggering to other people. Just like take a moment to reflect because we are all operating in places and spaces where like language can hurt, and it may not be intentional, but just wanting to implore all of us to again reflect. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Lacroix. I definitely agree with your comments. I do think also, though, it's important to be able to offer critique in a way that is, obviously constructive. And so I hear your comments, and I think that we should be sensitive, especially when referring to people's ethnicity or using coded language, as you were talking about. But, I think we also have to have room for being able to critique and call corruption out if we see something that's corrupt, for example. So I do want to just say that at least. But I appreciate that there are also, that, we should be able to talk about things. And if we want to talk about specific language that was used that was hurtful, we should do so in specifics, because I think I'm struggling a little bit with that. And maybe we can reserve that for another time, so we can make sure that we don't do it again. With that, perhaps we can move on to our next agenda item. Again, congratulations to our endorsed candidates. Our next item on the agenda is, I'm sorry, I'm scrolling through the agenda. Endorsement, and the appointments. Number 8 is the appointment of Hanzo to the Democratic State Central Committee. Yes.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, were there hands? Member Thomas.
I was wondering if it's possible for us to move items 8 through 11 by acclamation as one vote.
Yes, and I will.
Sorry, Janet.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Second.
Thank you for that motion, and I hear a second. Due to the length of the meeting, I am happy to also not give my public comments, but we'll say that these are all really excellent candidates that I'm really proud to put forward. So thank you. Vice Chair Galata.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. I don't know if the motion has been adopted yet, but I know that there, on behalf of Member Campos, would like to abstain on 2 of the items. So if that is possible, I can note that even if the votes are taken by acclamation.
Okay, great.
I will second Member Thomas's motion to take these as a whole. And then if you would like to abstain on any of these particular items, either as yourself or as your proxy, if you can just note that in the chat, and I'll have that recorded.
Recording Secretary Lee, I think someone else had already seconded it. But I don't remember who it was. So maybe it's fine that you just second it. So thank you. All right. Well, with that being said, we'll be taking items number 8, 9, 10, and 11 by acclamation. So all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions?
So Member Campos would like to abstain on items 8 and 11. I'll drop that in the chat.
Okay, thank you. Duly noted. We will thank you to the body for passing all 4 of those so quickly, and congratulations to all of those members who've been appointed to the state party. We'll now move on to item number 12, which is a resolution denouncing Govern for California and its history of anti-labor positions, sponsored by Ibanez and Galata. May we have a motion to consider the item?
So move.
Thank you, Member Ibanez. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Vice Chair Baraka. Member Ibanez, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. I'm asking my colleagues here in the DCCC to join me in supporting this resolution. Several DCCCs or Central County Committees across the state have passed similar resolutions, specifically starting in LA. And my understanding is that the state Democratic Party is also thinking of doing a similar resolution. This resolution is really important. Govern for California was founded by but a few wealthy billionaires who want to have an impact in in public policy, but more specifically, they want to take on labor, organized labor. They have said it, and we've seen what they have done, especially when we look at AB 1400, the single payer. One of the founders basically tweeted and was very proud of killing AB 14, and that meant that by killing AB 14, really it denied access to thousands of Californians who need health care. And so I think it's really, really important that we take a stand on this and that we support this resolution. We have been working very closely with labor. We are proud to work with labor, and this is really significant. Also, Laura Gonzalez, who's the head of the California Labor Fed, has called this organization out as well. So I really hope that you can join me in supporting this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Ibanez. Vice Chair Galata.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. And I just want to thank Member Ibanez for bringing this resolution forward, and I'm happy to be co-sponsoring this tonight, and just want to echo her comments. I think it's really important that we sunshine what's going on with this organization and what they're doing. A lot of folks haven't heard of them, and I know this may be new, and folks even here at the DCCC may not have heard of this organization, but they are becoming an increasingly big player in state politics, and they've been around for actually a decade. But Cal Matters did some great journalism on and really kind of exposed some of their political activity, their funding, how their funding model, just all the money that they are raising and bundling and then spending against pro-labor legislation. And they're also playing the electoral game of backing candidates throughout the state. And they've invested, I think, something like $3 million just in this election cycle alone on more than 110 candidates across California. So, and they've stated explicitly that their mission is to create a counter force to the special interests in California, which is basically a coded language for wanting to counter the influence of organized labor, which they say has an excessive sway in state politics. So I think the recent activity from killing, AB 1400 to killing other pro-labor legislation, their agenda is not aligned with ours. And so I think it's important for us to take a stand, as Member Ibanez mentioned, the LA Democratic County Central Committee, the largest in the state, county committee in the state, just passed a resolution very similar to what is before us tonight. And I think there's an ask for more county committees to stand with labor and sign on and denounce this organization, its anti-labor activity, and to refuse taking money from this organization. I think we need to call on our elected officials to not accept their money because it's a tacit support for their agenda, if not explicit support for their agenda. So thank you to colleagues for supporting this tonight, and I hope we can get the state party on record on this as well.
Thank you, Vice Chair Galata. Are there any members who would like to comment? If not, we can go to a vote. Thank you, colleagues. Hopefully we can do this by acclamation. All those in favor say aye.
I don't think I have a motion to approve, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying. Is there a motion to approve the item?
So move.
Thank you, Member Barry. Second.
Second.
Avalos. Okay, and if we can do it by acclamation, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Member Weiner would like to vote no.
Yeah, Assemblymember Ting would also like to vote no.
Okay, and any abstentions?
Abstain.
Member Campos abstains as well.
Chair Cohen abstains as well. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any other abstentions? Who was the first abstention, if we please? I think it was Feinstein. If you have abstained, just for the recording secretary's sake, if you could put it in the chat.
I've received them. Thank you.
You have? Okay, great. With that, the resolution passes. Thank you for your patience on that. We will now move on to item number 13, which is a resolution in support of SB 1334 and the need for meal and rest periods of hospital employees. May I have a motion to consider the item?
So move.
Thank you, Member
Second.
Ibanez, and seconded by Member Thomas. Vice Chair Galata, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. So first, I just want to say thank you to the nurses, to Liz and Kim, who came out to speak during public comment, which feels like that was days ago at this point. But thank you for taking the time out to be here and for all of your service. I also want to thank Fabiana from CNA as well for bringing this issue to the DCCC and asking the Democratic Party to help add our voice at this kind of urgent moment of advocacy. So, you know, as we've read, the governor has like 500 bills that it's waiting his signature in these next 2 days. This bill, SB 1334, is awaiting his signature at this point. He has not yet signed it. So we're in adopting this resolution, we're just helping to kind of ramp up that pressure to make sure this gets to the governor's desk to be signed. This bill had never really made it through the Senate or the Assembly before. So it's really, there's growing consensus that this needs to get done. The legislature is saying, get this done. So we need the governor's signature. I think it's clear there should be no discrepancy in basic protections between private and public sector nurses in California. This feels like such a no-brainer. So let's give our public sector nurses the dignity they deserve in meal breaks and rest periods. And let's add our name and send off a letter and assign our name on into a letter of support to the governor before the end of the week. So with that, colleagues, ask for your support and let's get the governor to sign this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Galata. Colleagues, does anyone have any comments? Seeing none, can we have a motion to take this by acclamation?
So moved.
Thank you, Member Thomas. Thank you for the second, Member Avalos. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, congratulations. The vote was unanimous and this passes. We will now move on to item number 14, which is a resolution commemorating the 77th anniversary of the National Disability Employment Awareness Month. I was the one to bring this forward. Can we have a motion to consider the item?
So move.
Thank you, Member Ibanez. Thank you, Member Thomas, for seconding. Just really briefly, colleagues, this year marks the 77 years since the National Disability Employment Awareness Month has been held in October to commemorate the extensive contributions of people with disabilities to America's workplaces and economy. Californians with disabilities, including those with developmental disabilities, continue to suffer disproportionately from high rates of unemployment, untenably low wages, and a myriad of barriers to screening, interviewing, and hiring, as indicated by the 2018 American Community Survey, where the employment rate of working age people with disabilities was 37.5% compared to 77.8% of working age people without disabilities. And with the pandemic worsening the employment environment for persons with disabilities, despite the current shortage of workers, and sadly, inflationary pressures have only exacerbated the situation. So I have brought forward this resolution, and actually Regional Director Kelly was the one who originally authored it. And so colleagues, I hope that you'll be able to join me in adopting this resolution for the San Francisco Democratic Party without any objection. So with that, can we have a motion to approve the item? Unless, I'm sorry, would anyone else like to comment? Seeing none, can we have a motion to approve by acclamation?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Okay, I heard a second by Baraka, but moved by Thomas. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, colleagues. This passes unanimously. We will now move on to item number 15, which is a resolution in support of San Francisco International Airport hospitality workers. This is authored by Thomas, Ibanez, and Mahogany. We have a motion to consider the item.
So moved.
Thank you, Vice Chair Galata. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Member Ibanez. Member Thomas, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany, and thank you to members of the San Francisco Democratic Party, especially for sticking around after a full agenda. I just wanted to flag this for everybody here. I've tried to reach out and call or text almost everybody on the DCCC about it. I'm sure you've seen in your news feed stories coming out of the airport where workers there, members of Unite Here Local 2, have been showcasing that they're paid barely over minimum wage. We all know the enhanced cost that it takes just to get to the airport. Even if you're using transit, it costs money to go there. There's badging. There's a lot of steps to working at the airport, and being barely paid over minimum wage is it's disheartening, especially for folks that have not had a pay raise in multiple years, far below the living wage rate. So I was proud to be out there with Chair Mahogany and several other members of the Democratic Party during an action where we got arrested, holding up traffic, to help show our support for these folks who are finally coming back to work. And if you track on Twitter, you'll see where they're posting that the menu items at the fast food joints that they're working at are more expensive than their hourly wage at the airport. So it's absolutely despicable. And I know some of you may also have noticed that we didn't have a ton of comments from the leadership on both NUHW and Unite Here. And that's because I got notice from them that they're at the bargaining table and organizing at actions, and they could not physically get to a Zoom screen to be here because they're going late into the night at the table. So I think it's absolutely incumbent for the Democratic Party to show solidarity both on this item and we have a couple others, but especially item 17 as well, for these striking workers who cannot afford to be on strike. These are folks that were out of work and they voted over 99% to go on strike. So we know this is serious, and I call on all of us to support the workers here at Unite Here too.
Thank you, Member Thomas. We'll go to Member Ibanez just as a co-author first, and then we'll go to Kathleen McDonough.
Thank you so much, Chair. Actually, can we let Kathleen speak? It's okay.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. Sorry to do this, but I was unable to get answers on any of these last resolutions just with the timing of when I got the agenda. So can I be excused?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Good night, everybody. I'm happy to be absent for the rest of the meeting.
No worries. Good night. Go ahead, Member Ibanez.
Yeah, I was not going to say anything because it's been a long meeting, but I think it's really important to note that in a city as wealthy as ours, no worker should be earning $17 an hour, especially at the airport. The strike is not just about living wage, but it's about dignity and respect. And if we really value our workers, we have to support this, and we have to ensure that that they understand that at the bargaining table that they have the support and pressure the airport to really settle this contract. And it also means the city. And so let's support the workers, including the NHUW, to support the Kaiser workers who are on strike. And yeah, it's, again, for me, it's all about dignity and respect and what kind, yeah. Anyway, so that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Member Ibanez. I don't see any other hands, but colleagues, is there any other folks who would like to comment? Seeing none, can we have a motion to consider this by acclamation?
So moved.
So moved.
Member Thomas moved and Vice Chair Braca seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, the motion or the resolution passes unanimously. Congratulations, Member Thomas. The next resolution is in support of AB 2183, the Agricultural Labor Relations Voting Choice Act. It's brought forward by Mahogany, Ibanez, and Thomas. Can we have a motion to consider the item, please?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Ibanez and seconded by Morales. Colleagues, in 1975, when Governor Jerry Brown signed the Agricultural Labor Relations Act, he did so in an extraordinarily special session. Only 50 passed for the bill to make its way through the legislature before landing on Governor Brown's desk. Upon signing the bill, California made history by allowing farm workers to collectively bargain for the first time in US history. California led the nation in ameliorating the systemic racism embedded in the National Labor Relations Act of 1935, which guaranteed workers, except farm workers and domestic workers, the right to join unions and collectively bargain. Today, Governor Newsom also made history and signed AB 2183, allowing farm workers seeking to unionize to do so via mail ballots, just as we do across the state for government elections. California's farm workers are the lifeblood of our state, and they have the fundamental right to unionize and advocate for themselves in the workplace, said Governor Gavin Newsom. Our state has been defined by the heroic activism of farm workers, championed by American icons like Cesar Chavez, Dolores Huerta, and Larry Italiong. California is proud to stand with the next generation of leaders carrying on this movement. I just want to note that when we wrote this resolution, that Governor Newsom had not signed the bill, but he has now signed the bill, which is a huge win for labor and for farm workers. And so I would like to offer up an amendment that we changed the further resolved clause to say that the San Francisco Democratic County Central Committee commends Governor Newsom for signing AB 2183.
Second the amendment.
Thank you, Member Thomas. Colleagues, seeing no other comments, could we
Sorry, I do want to say a comment. I actually want to make sure that and I know you did recognize this, but as a daughter of a member of UFW who were one of the first workers who organized in the fields, this is really historic and really important. But more important is the fight and the sacrifices that the farm workers actually did to make sure that this bill passed. Let's not forget that Governor Newsom vetoed this bill a year ago, and then it came back again. And it wasn't because, and I'm going to say blatantly, and I know we are recognizing him for commending the governor, but at the end of the day, we need to be commending those farm workers who marched from Delano all the way to Sacramento, because they are the real heroes. They're the ones who fought this. And somehow we tend to forget who are the people that actually grow our produces, pick our fruits. And I proudly say that those were my parents. My parents worked in the Salinas Valley picking and cutting broccoli, lettuce, and you name every vegetable that is grown in the Salinas Valley. And so this is so important, and this is very personal to me. So with that, I do want to say and acknowledge that our farm workers, and they should be commended for their bravery and their hair and for just fighting for what is right. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Ibanez, and I appreciate your co-sponsorship on this resolution. Would anyone else like to make comments? All right, with that, can we have a motion to approve the item as agendaed by acclamation?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Avalos, seconded by Ibanez. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, thank you, colleagues. This passes unanimously. We now have another resolution. This one is in support of striking Kaiser mental health providers, sponsored by Mahogany, Ibanez, and Thomas. Colleagues, can we have a motion to hear this item?
So moved.
Thank you. Moved by Member Ibanez, seconded by Member Thomas. Colleagues, mental health workers at Kaiser are now in their 7th week of their strike over conditions and pay at Kaiser Permanente in Northern California. And I do want to say that this is not the first time that they have gone on strike. They've been going on strike for years about the situation with their mental health program. And they're facing overwork, chronic understaffing, and that's been going on for over a decade. And mental health workers have been taking a stand and demanding improved conditions so that they can actually provide effective and timely treatment of their patients. So I am proud to continue to go and stand with Kaiser workers. I know many of us have been there on the front lines with them. I just wanted to put this body on the record in support of Kaiser workers, but also really asking that Kaiser step up. I mean, it's really unacceptable that patients have to wait weeks in order to get an appointment when they're in the middle of crisis, and that those people who are supposed to be helping them are so stressed out because they are so overburdened that they are, in some cases having mental health crises of their own. This is absolutely unacceptable in an organization that is making billions of dollars of profit. So I hope that we can all come together in support of the Kaiser workers and pass this resolution. And at this time, I'll open it up to comments, starting with my co-authors, Member Thomas.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. Thank you for crafting this resolution. I just want to also flag that, normally we hear about strikes for wages, benefits, poor working conditions, things like that. I want to really commend the members of NUHW here who are striking on behalf of patients and to help patients who have been getting really poor access to mental health care. Any one of us who have family members or friends who make use of mental health care, or even ourselves make use of mental health care, and those who utilize Kaiser for it know that the struggles there have been where Kaiser is grossly under allocating treatment to their patients. And I really just want to commend the workers to do a pretty aggressive strike. I mean, we just said going into the 7th week, this is not a short-term thing, and for them to fight this hard for patients, it really has to be commended. And I really applaud Chair Mahogany for calling on Kaiser to do the right thing here.
Thank you, Member Thomas. Member Banez.
Yeah, very similar, that the ones who we need to be commending and really fighting for are the workers. They are really fighting to improve the quality of healthcare that Kaiser is providing, and it's so significant. I can't say and stress that in a city like San Francisco, even support for mental health should be there. And Kaiser, as one of the largest healthcare facilities, should be providing healthcare. I can tell you, as someone who works at school sites, not only do our kids need mental health, but their families also need mental health support. We have families that have been waiting for mental health care for over a year and a half, and that is so wrong. And the impact that it has in our students is tremendous, given that many times it's not the kids, but the families that need the support. And so, yeah, we need to hold Kaiser accountable to ensure that they are providing that quality mental health care that the strikers are fighting for.
Thank you, Member Banez.
Yes, and thank you, Chair Mahogany, for introducing this resolution as well.
Thank you, Member Banez. Member Avalos.
Just want to express a few comments. This was the union I worked for, National Union of Healthcare Workers. And while I didn't work in the Kaiser division, I took part in all the strikes and was following closely the organizing that our members were doing, and just how difficult it was for them to actually be involved in bargaining and campaigning and fighting along the way, and still trying to stand up for their patients. There's always the corporate side is always going to say everyone's just trying to get wages and increased, they're going to try and suck us dry, and it's really Kaiser sets up the conditions where clinicians who are highly trained to do their work have the conditions that make them fail all the time, and they see their patients suffer. More than anything, they want to actually take care of families and prevent people from going from anxiety to deeper depression to the condition to suicides or violence that actually impacts people's lives and causes widespread trauma. They actually have the conditions they actually have the desire to make those changes, and it's really great that we can actually stand in solidarity with them today. And thank you for bringing this forward.
Thank you, Member Avalos. I don't see any other hands, so at this time, I'm wondering if we can have a motion to approve by acclamation.
So moved.
Thank you, Member.
Second.
Thomas. Thank you, Vice Chair Braca, for seconding. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those, any opposed, nay. Any abstentions? Thank you, colleagues. The resolution is adopted. Item number 18 is a resolution condemning the actions of Governor Ron DeSantis. This is brought forward by myself and Treasurer Morales. I did introduce this item, but I am wondering if Treasurer Morales, would you like to take the lead on this one? Well, maybe I can just open by saying that, you know, I just find this to be completely despicable, what is happening in our country right now with the governor and of Florida. And I know he has presidential ambitions and wants to, you know, be the second age of Trump, but we absolutely have to take a stand against that. As the child of someone who was refugees, I mean, I just want to acknowledge that, you know, these situations that these folks are fleeing from are situations in which they can no longer live, where they are no longer safe, where their families are, if not being persecuted, maybe even being killed or under threat of being killed. And so they're coming here seeking refuge, and to trick them, to lie to them in order to get them out of your state so that you don't have to take responsibility, or so that you, or not even responsibility because you just don't want them there, is atrocious and a human right violation, and something that we absolutely have to do everything we can to make very clear that we oppose. So that's why I brought this resolution forward. And I was really grateful to have the co-sponsorship of Treasurer Morales. And I'm sorry I asked you to lead it, and then I felt like I wanted to at least open it up by saying that. So thank you, Treasurer Morales, the floor is yours.
That's perfect. I mean, I only want to add that this is precisely a very right follow-up to my comments about the DA's race, because I am very tired of people in elected positions using immigrants as a pawn for their political ambition. And that might be either through their own identity or whatever that may be. Okay, and the actions that both the governor of Florida and the governor of Texas have done by sending different groups of immigrants to different cities and states that are led by Democrats are very appalling, and are kind of like the most overt ways that this xenophobia that, you know, Trump raised to one of its maximum expressions that we've seen in history, in recent history, pardon me. It just follows that grossness. But we can't ignore the more covert and coded ways in which we call immigrants here in our own city criminals for actually being victims themselves. So I think it is important, as we call out the horrifying actions of especially Governor DeSantis, who particularly sent a large group of Venezuelans precisely when I was in Venezuela visiting my parents after 3 years of not being able to see them because of the pandemic, that he's just playing with this folks that are economic refugees, really from an economic war that the United States has created thanks to the sanctions. So it's really important that we stand with these immigrants, and that we look for every tool and every legal way that we have to call attention to this matter and to say that this will not be allowed. Thank you, and I hope that everybody can support this resolution.
Thank you, Treasurer Morales. Colleagues, is there anyone who'd like to provide further comment? Seeing none, can we have a motion to adopt this item by acclamation?
So moved.
Moved by Member Avalos.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Recording Secretary Lee, second it. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, nay? And any abstentions? All right, thank you very much, colleagues. This passes unanimously. Thank you again. We'll now move on to item number 19, and apologies if you can hear the sirens. This is a resolution in support of the establishment of the Office of Gun Violence Prevention. I am the sponsor of this item. Can we have a motion to consider the item?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Recording Secretary Lee and Member Avalos. So gun violence remains a growing threat to public safety throughout the nation, and on average, there are over 110 gun deaths each day and nearly 41,000 each year in the US. Guns are the leading cause of death among children and adolescents, which is insane. And this, with US children being more likely to die from gun violence than in any other comparable country. California has advanced laws and policies that save lives and prevent gun deaths. In 2021, California saw a 37% lower gun death rate than the national average. And according to the CDC, California's gun death rate was the 44th lowest in the nation. California's gun death rate for children is also lower than other states and is 58% lower than the national average, thanks to our laws. However, as member Fauga Moliga reminded us at our last meeting, gun violence continues to wreak havoc, especially in communities of color, even here in San Francisco and throughout the state. So we have a lot of work to do. That's why I'm proud to offer this resolution in support of the Office of Gun Violence Prevention, a unit dedicated to developing strategies and working with stakeholders statewide to address the gun violence epidemic, and calling on the California State Legislature and the governor to commit to fully funding this new office to ensure that it is successful in stemming this tide of violence. And I hope to have your support on this resolution. Colleagues, is there anyone else who would like to comment on this item? Seeing none, if we can have a motion. Oh, I'm sorry, Vice Chair Lovett.
I'm just seeing in the news today that there was a mass shooting in an East Oakland high school. And we need a lot more than thoughts and prayers, and we need this kind of action. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Lovett. With that, colleagues, is it possible that we could have a motion to adopt by acclamation?
I'll move
So
this
moved.
for approval. Oh, I'll second it. Thank you, Baraka and Keith Baraka.
Okay, awesome. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, nay? Any abstentions? All right, thank you, colleagues. This passes unanimously. The next item is a resolution commending the SFUSD for its recognition of Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. Last year, Sarah Ochen, an SFUSD student, did a project advocating for schools to observe Muslim holidays, which actually resulted in 600 student signature petitions that she and her peers circulated. Her teacher then brought the idea to SFUSD and the Arab Resource and Organizing Center and put forward a resolution to the school board, which passed last month. Eid al-Fitr, or Feast of the Breaking of the Fast, is a tremendously significant day within Islam. This day is celebrated by Muslims worldwide because it constitutes the end of Ramadan and the month-long fast that accompanies it. Eid al-Fitr is a day of enormous meaning to Muslims, both for its historical impact and for the ongoing centrality it has in the faith. Eid is a holiday of gratitude that involves special services, ceremonies, and traditions celebrated with the family and the community. And also, it is known as the Festival of Sacrifice, the second most important holiday on the Islamic calendar, and it's a day of remembrance. So while there has been some recent move to delay the addition of Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha holidays to the school calendar, I do want to commend SFUSD for bringing it forward and for considering this, and I urge them to implement it as soon as possible. Colleagues, are there any other folks who'd like to comment on this item? Seeing no hands, can we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Avalos, and seconded by Ibanez. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
I think that was Thomas who seconded.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Second by Thomas. Thank you, Member Avalos. Are there any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, this passes unanimously. Thank you. And I believe our final resolution is a resolution supporting the rights of the people of Iran to freedom of expression, and also standing in solidarity with the women and people of Iran. This was brought forward by myself. Colleagues, can we have a motion to consider this item?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Thomas and seconded by Barry. Thank you, colleagues. 41 people have died and more than 1,200 have been arrested in the weeks-long protests that have erupted in Iran after the detention and death of a young woman accused of failing to properly wear the hijab. After the Iranian authorities cut access to Instagram, WhatsApp, and other social media sites, which provides means of communication that help ensure safety, in an effort to prevent coordination between protesters, the US Treasury Department announced on Friday that it would allow technology companies to offer the Iranian people more options of secure outside platforms and services. And this is really key because this was actually the #1 thing that people were asking for in Iran, which is to ensure that they were able to communicate and communicate exactly what was happening and not be blocked from internet communication. And, honestly, as someone who comes from a country where the internet oftentimes goes out at very convenient times, this is a tactic that governments use in order to control the narrative in some countries. And so it's really, really important that the US has taken this step to provide additional services to the Iranian people. So I want to, again, stand in solidarity with the Iranian community, the Iranian women who are being attacked and under attacked by a regime that is fascist, and it is not about religion, but about control of women and preventing freedom of expression and freedom of choice. And so I want to make it very clear that this is a moment for Iran like we've had here with the Black Lives Matter movement, where people are being killed, there are mass protests, and it's not getting enough attention. So I felt we should and must, as the San Francisco Democratic Party, stand in solidarity with the women of Iran and make sure that we denounce the continued oppression of women and the lack of freedom of expression, and ensure that we provide whatever tools we can to the people there so that they can be as safe as possible. And I hope to have your support on this resolution. Colleagues, are there anyone else who would like to provide comment on this item? Member Barry.
I just wanted to say thank you, Chair Mahogany. I've been following this matter closely. And there was a lady from Iran today that mentioned the internet being blocked and how she really believes it's hundreds of people that have been killed. But, we don't have that information, but I'm worried as well. And I was just so excited to see so many women take their hijab off and cut their hair and just express themselves. And I'm also well traveled, so I've been to several Middle Eastern countries, and it should be a choice. There are plenty of women who love wearing their head coverings, and it's the solidarity, I think, is very wonderful, and women need to support women. And thank you again for bringing this to this body.
Thank you, Member Barry. With that, colleagues, if we can take this by acclamation, can we have a motion to take this by acclamation?
So move.
Second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any
Aye.
opposed? Any opposed, nay? Any abstentions? Seeing none, the motion or the resolution passes unanimously. Thank you, colleagues, for your support, and thank you for adding all those items to the agenda. I did think that they were time sensitive and necessary for us to discuss today. With that, we move on to item number 22, which is new business. At this time, colleagues, is there anyone who'd like to bring new business forward? Recording Secretary Lee.
Yeah, I'm gonna be really short. First, happy Transit Month. September is Transit Month. You've got like 2-ish more days for 50% off BART, so please go enjoy. The second thing, sort of semi-BART related, I actually just received news from SEIU Local 10 to 1, which is the biggest union at BART, that the governor actually has vetoed SB 1488, which I and the rest of the BART board had actually opposed because of some provisions. There's a long story here, but given there was so many resolutions uplifting the power of labor unions, SEIU and other unions at BART did a huge amount of work to really push the governor to listen to unions in ensuring that the BART Inspector General actually worked closely with the unions in ensuring, any kind of investigation or audit was done in coordination and collaboration with our labor partners. So I didn't expect the governor to veto this bill. So I think it's huge that he was in solidarity with labor today on this.
Thank you, Recording Secretary Lee. Is there anyone? Oh, Member Barry.
Yeah, I would just like to, if we have any more members of the public still watching, just remind folks that if you haven't got your voter guide in the mail yet, you might not be registered, or you might be registered in the different where you moved from, and how that goes. But by the time we meet next month, ballots will already have been mailed. So please make sure you're registered, and please tell your friends to register to vote. And you might want to start looking through the guide because there's a lot in there. It's pretty thick, it's pretty fat, and get familiar with some of the ballot measures as well. And that is all.
Thank you for that, Member Barry. That is a very apt and well-timed piece of new business. I will just add to that if you want to check your voter status, you can go to voterstatus.sos.california.ca.gov, and you can check your voter status to make sure that your address is up to date and that you are registered. Colleagues, is there any more new business? Seeing none, we are now at our last item, which is adjournment. I would actually like to adjourn tonight's meeting in the memory of the woman who died in police custody because, again, she was violating the Islamic dress code and was arrested by the morality police. And that is Masa Amini. And I welcome anyone else who would like to add a name to be honored. Oh.
I would, Chair Mahogany, like to add Tony Coleman in remembrance. He passed away, had a battle with cancer, and he was a real figure here in the Bay Area for the criminal justice reform movement, and was an inspiration to our youth. So definitely want to add Tony Coleman to the list.
Thank you, Member Williams. I would just like to also add one member from the trans community that also passed recently. That is Garza. She was a cultural icon in San Francisco and was quite just ever present when I first came out in the scene here. Just a pure joy, just vivacious, and just one of the kindest people I've ever met. And unfortunately, she passed at before her time at a very young age and leaves behind a partner and many family members who love her dearly, and a community that is really heartbroken. So I also want to commemorate Garza in tonight's meeting. And thank you, Member Barry. I see you have a hand raised.
Yeah, I would like to add to the list. Man, my man Coolio passed today. That was one of my favorite rappers growing up. He had a lot of positive, fun music, and he was quite a character. And a lot of you probably much younger than me might not know who he is, but he was really a big part of the I believe the 90s, maybe 80s, but it hurt. That one hurts. So thank you.
Yeah, definitely a fan here too. Thank you for bringing that forward. All right, colleagues, thank you for bringing those people's names into the meeting. In honor of them, we will adjourn, and thank you again for all of your work. Oh, was there someone else?
Yeah, I was trying to see if her name was pulled up, but she was a minor. The young 15-year-old who was shot and killed by the police just, I believe yesterday or the other day, while they were searching for her via an Amber Alert. Very disappointing, but that happened, but just wanting to call her out and her memory out as well. And also just all the folks in the Caribbean and in Florida who are dealing with Hurricane Ian. Just thinking about them at this time as well.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing that into the space. And thank you, colleagues, again for your sticking with us. This meeting is a little bit longer than we thought it might be, but not our longest one yet. So with that, in the memories of those who have passed and been named, we will adjourn tonight's meeting. Thank you and see you next month.